2025, the afternoon session. 2. Certified copy of a list of members with signatures in support of a motion for removal from the Kericho County Governor by impeachment dated the 6th of August 2025. Order papers for the Assembly sittings of Wednesday 6th of August 2025, afternoon sitting, and Friday 15th of August 2025. Certified Hansard reports for the Assembly sittings of Wednesday 6th of August 2025, afternoon sitting, Thursday dated the 6th and 13th of August 2025, reference number KCA/SP/3 Volume 1 into inviting the Governor of Kericho County to respond to the tabled impeachment motion. Copy of Kericho County with the invitation letter and a copy of a laid notice of impeachment motion, together with evidence on behalf of the Speaker, County Assembly of Kericho. Certified copy of electronic voting extracts, 30th sitting of Friday the 5th of the Government Physical Planning Department, made to Denby Holdings Limited, Jebral Ventures Limited, and Cranby Group 2 Limited, Larry Enterprise Limited, and Mabsa General Supplies Limited. A procurement plan and a memorandum vouchers for Public Works and Real Supplies Limited, Planning Department, made to the following: French Focus Limited, for Health Services Department, payment vouchers, Jebema Construction Supply, and Rowley Ventures Limited. Report on the pending bills by Committee on Projects. Ad hoc Committee report on Kazi Mutani. Report by the Department of Finance and Economic Planning, Strategic Intervention Phase 2, and 2 photos and ruling. Ad hoc Committee and the Speaker, dated the 20th of August, 2 members with signatures. I think I've gone back. And for vacancies by County Public Service Board, an internal memo on redeployment of staff under the Health Service Department, a Facebook extract, voucher for Mango, evidence of public participation, on notice of motion for removal of Dr. Eric Ekwech Mutai, the Governor of the County Government of Kericho by impeachment. Dr. Eric Mutai as Governor. 5, a report, and 4, a report of public participation. Governor's response and Volume 1 and 2. Section 33(3) of the County Governments Act and Standing Order 81A at a special sitting of the Senate held on Wednesday the 20th by the County Assembly of Kericho. As you are aware, the mandate is provided and 12 and standing Ambogua. The chair must be heard in silence. In particular, Article 1A, gross violation of this Constitution or any other law. B, where there are serious reasons for believing that a county governor has misconduct, and D, physical. Number 2, mentioned in the 80 and the 3rd schedule to the Senate standing orders, proposed removal from office, or the 81B, committee comprising 11 of its members. 2 senators will recall establishment of a special. This withdrawal paved the way for a default position, the hearing of the impeachment charges against the Governor of Kericho County, to be held in plenary. Now, Honorable Senators, ladies and gentlemen, by way of a status update of a Governor in plenary in the investigation, the Senate filed an answer to the charges with the Office of the Clerk of the Senate by 5 p.m. Monday 25th of appearance before the Senate, whether in person, by advocate, or in person and by advocate. Number 3, the names and addresses of the persons to be called as witnesses, if any, and the witness statements containing a summary of the evidence to be presented by such witness. Honorable Senators, considering commencement of the County Assembly, the County Assembly was further invited, if it so chooses, the following documents. The documentation 1, designating the members of the County Assembly, being number 3, indicate 3. Indicating the names and addresses of the persons to be called as witnesses, if any, and witness statements containing a summary of the evidence to be relied on. The Clerk of the Senate received a response dated the 23rd of August 2025 to the invitation to appear issued to the Governor to represent him in the hearing before the Senate of witnesses for the Governor and by advocate. Similarly, the response reference number H&K stroke 009 stroke 017 stroke 2025 and dated the 24th of August from Messrs. H&K Law Advocates, who indicated that the County Assembly of Kericho had appointed the firm to represent the County Assembly in the hearing and that the County Assembly would also appear in person and by advocates. Now, pursuant to the Clerk of the Senate furnished each party with the documentation filed by the other party in accordance with Rule 6 and 7 in today's order paper, due to each activity. The parties will be notable. In summary, the program 5, after one will be given an opportunity to take a plea on each charge. This will be followed by an opening statement by the county. The case of the County Assembly shall commence and shall not exceed 5 hours. The sitting to ask questions of his case before the Senate. The presentation shall also not exceed 5 hours. Honorable Senators will also be given an opportunity to ask questions or seek clarifications from the Governor. Other sitting scheduled for Friday, the 29th of August, exceeding 1 hour each. At this stage, as supplementary order Article 123 of the Constitution, the County Governments Act 2012, and Standing Order 86 of the Senate, the voting by the Governor shall cease to hold any impeachment charge, pursuant to Standing Order accordingly. Honorable Senators, ladies and gentlemen, I now invite Counsel for the County Assembly of Kericho to introduce the legal to the County Assembly by stating the County Assembly.
Good morning, Honorable Speaker. Good morning, Senators. Good morning, Honorable. The representation is as follows: Elvis Kipkorir, Brian Langat, Hilary Kiblangat, Elias Mutuma, the Sharon Bibongoya being the lead counsel, and myself, Kimutai Bosek. For this, the mover of the motion, Honorable Kiprotich Rogon. There is also Albert. Thank you, Honorable Speaker, sir.
And now, similarly, I now invite Counsel for the Governor to introduce your legal team representing the Governor.
Governor Kericho County and my colleagues to introduce to you the legal team representing the Governor Kericho County. First, I wish to confirm that the Senior Counsel Katwa Kigen, joined by Counsel Peter Wanyama, assisted by myself. My name is Doris Ngeno Schmite, Counsel for this Honorable.
Honorable Senators, on behalf of the Senate, of the Governor, members of the public and the media, to the Senate and to these proceedings. Finally, I now invite the Clerk, Eric Mutai, the Governor.
Order number 2, reading of the charges on the proposed removal from office by impeachment. The Honorable Tan. The charges against you as received from the County Assembly of Kericho are as follows, and I quote: Ground 1, gross violation of the Constitution and other laws, gross violation of the Constitution of the Republic of Kenya 2010, the County Government's Management Act 2012, and Kericho County laws. The particulars of this ground are as follows. Allegation 1, misappropriation and misallocation of county finances. On various occasions since his election as a gross violation of Articles 10, 183 and 201 of the Constitution, Sections 102 and 109 of the Public Finance Management Act, Cap 412A, and the provisions of the Kericho County Rating Act, number 5. Between January 2025 and July 2025, the Governor engaged in gross violations of Article 1 and Section 3, subsection 3 aided, abet, which were neither delivered nor done, occasioning the county loss of Kenya shillings 85,704,522.90 in A. Services which were not rendered and or partially done, for example, the maintenance of 15 residential houses, million shillings. B. Something goods, including sodas, alleged to have been bought for about 500 shillings per 300 milliliter bottle, and a bale of tissue paper alleged to have been bought for Kenya shillings 2,750 per bale of 10 tissue papers. D. 72,715.60 cents from companies including Mengro Products Limited, Hildama Construction and Supplies Limited, Brisac Construction and Supplies Limited, Prospera Ventures Limited, and E. Payment of contractors from the retention account for the works done for more than 5 years agreements. 2. No tender opening committees were formed contrary to Section 78 of the Public Procurement and Asset Disposal Act 2015 as read together. Similarly, there were no public procurement and asset of competitive tender request for quotation as read. 5. The documents used by the departments were not clear and did not bear references to the procurers. There was therefore blatant violation of the provisions of Regulation 68 of the Public Procurement required and Regs 2020. The contractors therefore supplied goods with exorbitant prices contrary to Section 54, subsection 2, 7. All of the subject goods, services and works were paid for in advance, yet the county has verified and a yet committee pertinent and by the departmental heads called to testify were not accompanied by the ETIM's invoice. This lends credence to the suspicion and to be authenticated. The documents. D. And weak internal control, accounting officers, and indeed by law. E. There was an intention to defraud the county and violations of the Constitution 2010, the Public Finance, the Powers and Privileges, the County Assemblies Act, the Public Procurement and Asset Disposal Act 2015. 9. Act 2012, the Governor has the overall responsibility of being accountable for the management and use of county resources. 10. It is a matter of public notoriety that when the whistle was blown on these fictitious payments, the Governor, Boyne Ward, rubbished the claims and called for stern action against the whistleblower. This shows someone who is appropriation of National Agricultural Value Chain Development Project NAVCPD funds. 11.508 of the Constitution and sections 48 and 159 of the Public Finance Management Act 2012 and sections abating, condoning and or overseeing the massive looting, pilferage, misappropriation and misallocation against 351 million as at 10th June 2025. 12. From the report of the Committee of Agriculture on the implementation status CDP in Kericho County, discrepancies in the use of the fund. A. The expenditure was used for farmers' cooperative societies, found only in 19 of 30 wards in Kericho County. This implies that the funds that were meant for agripreneurs whose role is B. Found that out of the nation of the fund. C. It is further indicated in the report that some SACCO received nominal support in kind. D. Even those SACCOs and farmer producer organizations which received support in kind did not receive delivery notes when they fund the prices source under the NAVCDP program was conducted centrally with minimal involvement of key stakeholders. This does not only but also created room for furniture and equipment supplied under the NA. There was therefore no value for money and compliance with the Public Procurement and Asset Disposal Act 2015, particularly Section 124 QCBS method as the preferred method to be used to evaluate proposals. 14. The manner in which the few following the project implementation manual published by the World Bank to guide the implementation of the projects. 15. And Section 30, subsection 3F of the County Governments Act 2012 to be accountable for the management and use of county resources. 16. There is evidence that the governor has been ordering withdrawals from the fund for reasons other than and consideration of this Section 1C, compelling the relevant banks where the funds from projects under the Financing Locally Led Climate Action FLOCA Fund. 17. On various dates between the year 2023 and 2025, the governor has violated the provisions of Articles 10, 179, 183, 201, 207, and 208 of the Constitution and Sections 1 of the County Governments Act supporting distribution of projects under FLOCA funds, imprudent use, misappropriation, and misallocation of FLOCA fund with the governor's home ward, namely Chemosot ward, alone, getting projects worth in other sub-counties, but even in the Bureti sub-county, which have received not a single project under the fund. This nepotically skewed distribution of projects under the fund violates the national values and principles of governance under Article 10 of the Constitution, and in particular, the values of equity, non-discrimination, principles of public finance under Chapter 12 of the Finance Management Act, which enjoins to the values and principles of the Constitution in the management of the county funds. B. The Joint Committee on Water and Sanitation, their report on the implementation status of FLOCA programs, noted that some projects under the fund, namely Chemomul Water Project, Torachtani Cooperative Society Milk Cooling Plant in Kapsaos Ward, Soliat Water Tree Nursery Establishment Project in Soliat Ward, Arndonyo Mare Borehole Water Project, and Lelaitich Water Project in Soliat Ward are marked as 100% complete, yet there are either defects in the works, incomplete and certain. Chaik, Kipchebor, Chilchila, and Kunyak did not get even a single project in all the categories under the fund, namely environment, agriculture, and water. 4. Misappropriation of county fund. About 31st of August 2023, the governor engaged in gross violation of Articles 10, 183, 201, 207, and 208 of the Constitution and Sections 102, 109, and 110 of the Public Finance Management Act 2012 by launching a program dubbed Equalizer Kazi Mtaani Initiative and drawing county fund assembly and the controller of budget and prior approval of the Budget and Appropriation Committee's approval. 20. And orders and for the services which were not delivered. 20. The County Assembly's report on the ad hoc committee on Kazi and implementation of the initiative. However, the governor deliberately disregarded the report and it has hitherto not been implemented. The report of the County Assembly on Equalizer Kazi Mtaani initiative undermines devolution, the doctrine of separation of powers, and is therefore under Article 174 of the Constitution. 5. Misappropriation of funds under 24-25, the Governor in 7 and 208 of the Constitution. 12. By overseeing misappropriation. 24, which is a retender project for the Constitution. 6. A total of Kenya shillings 8,575,186 has been paid for no works done. Indeed, when the County Assembly's Committee on Implementation visited the site, they found that the contractor had only supplied materials, contrary to the Finance Department's report to the Assembly that Kitchen and Staff House 6, other executive committee members and chief officers have variously reported coercion by the Governor to make financial allocation through the Governor's personal assistants. 26. Violation of Article 201A, D and E of the Constitution 2010 on principles of public finance, and Article 226 as read with Article 227 of the Constitution by presiding over glaring irregularities evidenced by fully interfering in the procurement processes and the award of tenders. C. Skewed tender awards to various contractors at inflated rates and in collusion with fraudulent contractors and suppliers. D. Irregular implementation and unfair distribution, diligently presiding over massive theft of county public funds, as evidenced by the Auditor General's reports for the preceding financial years, which have raised red flags over various projects. 27. On 15th August 2023, the Governor compensated the victims of Londiani accident from the County Emergency Fund to cover up for the funds raised by the public and misappropriated by a committee he had formed to steer the funds drive, and without a cogent allegation number 2 raised 3 and 9th July 2023, the Governor grossly violated the provisions of Article 1073 by A. Overseeing misappropriation of the funds raised for the victims of the horrendous Londiani Junction accident tragedy. B. Reneging on his undertaking to implement the report of the County Assembly's ad hoc committee formed to probe the misappropriation of funds, or supported a suit by those Employment and Labor Relations Court petition number E006 of 2023, Dr. Wesley Bohr and 5 others versus the Governor, see petition number E014 of 2023, Victor Tum and others versus the Governor, Kericho County and others. Direct tenders for service providers during the fundraiser and requiem mass of the victims of the accidents in the course of his duties that are contrary to and in violation of the Constitution and the laws of Kenya. These include 1. The authenticity on those whom the funds ought to have benefited. 2. A total of Kenya shillings 13,682,660 was collected at the fundraiser. A sum of Kenya shillings 420 fund, field preparation, lunches and refreshments, printing, publishing, and radio announcements. 37,524. Londiani Hospital, Kenya shillings 1,534,100. Kenya shillings 411,000. Raise Hotel, Kenya shillings 100,000. County Commissioners Fuel, Kenya shillings 300,000. 3. That when Kenyans from all walks of life voluntarily made contributions to aid the victims of the tragedy, it was never intended or anticipated that the funds would be misappropriated with the blessings of the Governor, who had a higher calling to ensure the money is accounted for to the last coin and on whom the people bestowed their trust. 4. The Governor issued contradictory statements insofar as the use of the funds is concerned. The contradictory statements point to his being complicit in the matter. 5. While the government It is against the express and unequivocal representations of the governor. E. By his acts of omission, whether in private or in public, behave in a manner that avoids conflict of interest between personal interests and public or official interests, or compromises public interest in favor of personal interest. F. By overseeing the Mr. 23 Sabbatical 2, which demands from him selfless service based solely on public interest, demonstrated by honesty in the execution of his duties, accountability to the public for decisions and actions, and discipline and commitment in service. G. By allowing himself to be a master of doublespeak in such a grave matter that shook the Constitution, which demand that he at all times demonstrates respect to the people and brings honor and dignity to the related Article 76, Article 2b of the Constitution, which prohibits a state officer from accepting a benefit in circumstances that compromise the integrity of the state officer. I. By failing to ensure that decision-making in the executive of the county governor are not influenced by corruption, nepotism, and other callous and improper motives, the governor has failed to exercise objectivity and impartiality, thus violating Article 73, Article 2b of the Constitution of Kenya. 20. Allegation 1. Illegal appointments, unlawful dismissals and transfers, and usurpation of the constitutional gross misconduct, and 2. Gross violations of Articles 10, 73, 75, 232, 235 Ethics Act, Sections 54 and 65 of the County Governments Act, Section 4 of the Public Appointments County Assemblies Approval Act, 20 appointments of the county employees of various cadres. For instance, the governor recently hired his own brother and wife, one Chepkirui Mercy, was recently hired as a nurse on contract basis. Who was recently hired for long without confirmation. B. Illegally appointing one Mrs. Alice Bett, now Judge of Court, the Honorable Lady Justice Wasilwa, affirmed was irregular, unprocedural, and unlawful 2023. In that case, the governor was found by the court to be in gross violation of Article 73 and 232 of the Constitution, shillings 2 million of the law, and all the Assembly and the Senate. C. Causing the advertisement of the positions of doctors endear himself politically when he knew the county government did not have capacity to hire. The applicants were subsequently not shortlisted, nor the notice dated 22nd of July 2024, without any justification, authority, and involvement of counties. The governor has dismissed a total of 10 County Executive Committee (CEC) members, 6 chief officers, 2 chiefs of the county to protracted litigation and the risk of huge compensation in damages. The governor has perpetuated this firing spree, not for any reason, lies. Allegation 2. Subversion, discrediting, and impeding of the oversight role of the County Assembly. Grossly violated the provisions of Articles 10, 73, 75, 174, and 185(3), among other things, the timelines the Speaker should give the chief officers who are summoned by the Assembly for questioning in exercise of the Assembly's oversight mandate. Ground 3. Gross misconduct. The particulars of this ground are as follows. Allegation 1. Bullying, incitement, and 2. Gross violation of the provisions of Articles 10, 73, and 75 of the Constitution, and Sections 29, as though he is above the law. On the second day of being sworn into office, the governor led a mob to invade a private land owned by one Mr. Josiah Kiplangat Kogo within Kericho town and tore down the fence. The governor has since designated the subject land as an illegal dump site operated by the county government, gazettement by the county designating the parcel as a dump site, and in total disregard of a court order issued by the Environment and Land Court in the case of Kericho in ELC petition number E001 of 2022, Josiah Kiplangat Kogo versus County Government of Kericho. The governor has also obstructed the enforcement of the orders by the police administration. The actions are illegal, contemptuous to the authority and dignity of the court and the rule of law, unethical, and demeaning the office the governor holds. Further, as a result of the illegal actions of the governor, the county was condemned to pay the costs, and chiefs of staff and other senior county staff were given fair administrative due process 1 of the Constitution. Harassed county officers, atmosphere of fear, uncertainty and despondency in the county, and thus creating a toxic work environment. This violates the provisions of sections 11 and 13 of the Leadership and Integrity Act 2012. D. The governor has persistently used divisive and unbecoming language which undermines the officer enumerated above, have collectively brought dishonor and disrepute into the office of the governor in violation Kipkoech Mutai. How do you plead to the 3 grounds? How do you plead to ground 1? How do you plead to ground 2? How do you plead to ground 3?
Governor, you may be seated.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir.
Now I'll call upon the County Assembly So the County Assembly, you have 30 minutes to make your opening statement. Thereafter, it will be followed by the Governor's opening statement. It will also take 30 minutes.
Sorry, Mr. Speaker. Thank you so much, Mr. Speaker. Before we make the opening statement, given the opportunity to raise them first.
You may proceed.
Thank you so much. Mr. Speaker, allow me to begin by raising the fairly simple and straightforward preliminary issue. By letter dated 24th August 2025 by the firm of HK Advocates on behalf of the County Assembly. Sorry, the record may not record my name. My name is Elisha Ongoya for the County Assembly, whom I wanted today. Mr. Speaker, Law Advocates acting for the County Assembly for one witness who suffers time comes. So that we don't struggle at the last minute, I would wish that Mr. Speaker directs that those arrangements be made as and when that witness is required to be put on the stand. The second preliminary issue is also relating to another letter dated 24th August, that a motion which was brought to the attention of the County Assembly when the documents were being exchanged at the club, that it will be seeking the leave of this House to file a response to the notice of preliminary objection.
I think, Council, that PO hasn't been raised yet. It's on record, but it's yet to be raised.
Thank you.
So you'll be given an opportunity to make that application once that PO has actually been raised.
Thank you. Having said that, circulate to the senators, I'll just lay a brief context for this. There are documents which, Mr. Speaker, when you are informing the senators, you drew their attention to the documents that the County Assembly brought to this House accompanying the resolution of the County Assembly. Some of those documents, unfortunately, when we were now preparing the volumes for circulation, because of the number added to the various witness affidavits, and those documents were also omitted when we were producing the volumes because of specific documents, so that then you can consider whether or not to allow them.
You may proceed.
Thank you. Mr. Speaker, you'll remember you read among the documents that the County Assembly presented to this Senate as payment vouchers for the Department of Agriculture. You also read payment accompanying the motion and duly presented to the Speaker were not reproduced in the volumes that have been given to the honorable senators. We also have documents that are mentioned in the various witness affidavits, but which, unfortunately, by name, we have a staff redeployment memo dated 10th January 2025, an internal memo of the County Government of Kericho. We have certain printouts of M-Pesa statements that are referred to in the affidavit of Eric Koech. We have the letter dated 21st August 2025 with regard to the report of the ad is referred to in the affidavit of the motion mover. We have certain affidavit of Albert Koech. We have the termination letter of Enoch Koech that is referred to in the affidavit of Eric Koech. We have an invitation for a meeting with the Joint County Assembly Committee on Water and Sanitation and Environment is before this House, but only the invitation letter that was omitted in the course of the photocopying. Then we have bundles of invitation letters dated 18th July 2025 to appear before the ad hoc committee of the County Assembly of Kericho on fictitious payments. Again, the report of that committee is already before this House. So the only documents that were omitted were the invitation letters, which we seek that you permit to be presented to this House so that we have a complete record. Then finally, Mr. Speaker, we have certain photographs and an attendant certificate of electronic evidence. The photographs are referred to in the affidavit of Kiprotich Rogoni, and the certificate of those documents, Mr. Speaker, we beseech you to allow the senators to have access to them so that we can have a comprehensive view of the situation. The other documents are the ones, as I alluded to earlier, relating to the answer to the PO. I will suspend dealing with those ones as director of the Speaker, and I'll deal with them as and when that PO becomes a relevant issue before.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. For record purposes, my name is Elias Mutuma. I just wanted to confirm that the documents that my landed senior has alluded to have already been supplied to Council for the Governor through email yesterday, and physical copies were delivered this morning. Thank you.
Council for the Governor, do you have any objections to that request?
We very strongly object. We very strongly object. It is true that we were Mr. Speaker, sir, we strongly object to the attempt to introduce new evidence at this point, referred to by my colleague. Mr. Speaker, sir, the first point of our objection is that we will not. The second objection, Mr. Speaker, sir, is that you already gave a timetable within which the filings were to be done, and we also, the mere contention that it was voluminous is not good enough a reason. The third objection we have, Mr. Speaker, sir, is that they were not part of the documents that were used during the proceedings at the County Assembly. And for purposes of that point, Mr. Speaker, sir, I wish to make reference to your standing orders, the standing orders for this, for the Senate. Particularly, the Assembly shall not introduce new evidence that was not part of the allegations against the governor in the county assembly as forwarded by the Speaker. Mr. Speaker, sir, it is our contention that that standing order clearly prohibits the introduction of this new evidence. It is also our argument that if that evidence had been brought to the assembly, there is also the possibility that the assembly could have voted differently. And so, Mr. Speaker, sir, we take objection to the introduction of the new evidence, and we insist that the matter proceeds as per the documents that were filed within the timelines that you have given. Mr. Speaker, sir, I would like my colleague, Mr. Wanyama, to make supplementary submissions on the issue.
Mr. Speaker, sir, the Honorable Senator, paragraph 16 of the motion, and the entire motion, there is certainly evidence which the motion specifically said on the floor that that evidence will be sought after asking the House to issue summons. Attaching evidence has been adduced. So that was the evidence which was submitted before the county assembly and a decision made on them. So in accordance with your rule, new evidence, even if it was mentioned in the pleadings before the county assembly, it cannot introduce that new evidence before this House at this stage for only one reason. It's extremely prejudicial to the governor. And secondly, the governor has not had the opportunity to prepare on this evidence. But more, and therefore, the right to fair hearing will be severely breached if this evidence, which the county assembly is now doing a patchwork, is introduced at this stage. And lastly, it will contravene your express, clear, and unequivocal rules that no.
Mr. Speaker, may I have a brief right of reply?
Council, let me just make a ruling on this matter. We make progress.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
We've had your position. We've had the governor's position. Now, if I had counsel for the county assembly correctly, is that the evidence related to those omitted by mistake during the compiling of those bundles, they do not introduce any new evidence, and therefore, pursuant to Rule 30 of the Rules of Procedure, I will allow those.
Mr. Speaker, sir, we had indicated that we are raising a preliminary objection. Although, allow me to just make the observation, Mr. Speaker, sir, that much as you have made your ruling based on the premises that they were excluded, though they were part of the evidence, they were not part of the evidence, Mr. Speaker, sir. These are new documents that have never been part of this case. The nearest you could say is that they were referred to or they were alluded to in the charges, but they have never been part of the evidence. Mr. Speaker, sir, we filed a notice of intention to raise a preliminary objection, and the same was part of the filings we did within the timeline you gave us. The nature of our preliminary objection, Mr. Speaker, sir, is to contend that there was no voting that took place, and therefore it implicates the requirement, number one, that voting must have been done at the assembly, and number two, that a 2/3 threshold should have been achieved. It is our contention that the approach adopted by the Speaker in the County Assembly, the documents filed, including the audit of the logs of the process, will show that indeed there was no voting system. Mr. Speaker, sir, I pray that you allow us to was not achieved, and therefore your jurisdiction has not been triggered as a Senate.
So, Council for Governor, you have 15 minutes to raise your appeal. Council for the County Assembly, you'll have 15 minutes to respond, and thereafter the Senate will make a determination on the matter.
Mr. Speaker, sir, the issues we raised in our preliminary objection are that we will start first of all, Mr. Speaker, sir, we will invite your attention to the contents of an Annex 4A from the Assembly, which provides an audit of the login processes and the details of how the voting went on. And Mr. Speaker, sir, that is contained in the affidavit by the IT 5 to 93. And Mr. Speaker, sir, the IT expert says particularly at paragraph it is volume 2.
What is your issue, Senator Fanarobi?
Volume 2.
Been through this process many times, and these are experienced lawyers. Part of the thing they should do before they start is to introduce to the Senate what his documents look like, and then we can be able to go together. Other than that, you're just speaking to yourself. With respect, Council.
Council for Governor, kindly be guided accordingly.
My apologies, Honorable Senators. I'm referring to volume 2 of the County Assembly bundle, and I will be juxtaposing that with bundle Annex 4F, also from the County Assembly bundle. What has been referred to by the IT expert, and that testimony, his affidavit is at page 79. To that page, particularly page 8, certain software for purposes of payments, budgeting, meetings, and so on and so forth. Then he said, on attendant to the enactment of that section, they then developed a system for voting by upgrading what they already had for purposes of implementation of that standing order. Then he proceeds at paragraph 23, 30, and 31 to say that our preliminary objection lies. We would like to say, first of all, if it were a specific, if it was tailored to meet the intention, standing order number 77A requires that in the event an MCA chooses not to vote, then he must be deemed to have abstained. Mr. Speaker, sir, when we look at volume 1 of the Governor's bundle at page 98 to 101, if we could look at that. The Governor's bundle, page 98 to 101 to 106. It is the bundle was tailored to meet the intentions of standing order number 77. Then it should also have complied with the detail of 7798 that the votes reflected in that report says 33 voted and there was 0 abstain. Volume 2 of the Assembly's bundle, you will find an affidavit by the clerk of the County Assembly at page 90 to 93, and particularly at page 90 at MCS in the Assembly on that day. Now, our case is that the 18 MCS did not vote at all, and we have produced those affidavits. And those affidavits, the system that they say was tailored to meet the intention of standing order number 77 subsection 77, then 77.8 requiring that it should reflect abstention, then should have reflected 18 MCS abstained, or in the alternative, if it were to be the case which you contest, if it were to be the case that 33 voted, then it should have reflected that 14 of them abstained. And so that's our first attack on that pretense that there was any voting that happened. It is our contention that just a piece of paper was prepared. Some number of votes that system should have reflected should have been 29 votes. And the affidavits that we have produced for purposes of supporting that proposition, Mr. Speaker, sir, are at page that is an MCA called Kiptagan. Then there is an MCA called Kibet or Zuben at page 121 to 122. Then there is Amos at page 125 to 127. Then there is Edna and Martin at page 128 to 131. Then there is an MCA whose nickname is Broker at page 132 to 134. Then there is an MCA called Gabriela at page 135 to I was just struggling with the 15 minutes I was given, honorable senators. Then there is an affidavit sworn by all the 18 jointly at page 113 to 116. In the same set of the documents, we have shown how they have already reported to the DCI for purposes of investigation of the impersonation of their votes. Mr. Speaker, sir, may I indicate that all the 18 MCAs are our witnesses, and we intend to call all of them, probably 17 or the 18. And Mr. Speaker, sir, and honorable senators, it is our contention that indeed, to the extent to which 18 of them did not vote, the representation that the 33 MCAs voted is inaccurate. It should have been only 29 MCAs. Now, Mr. Speaker, sir, we have identified particularly 4 MCAs whose signatures, whose votes were fraudulently captured as having voted in favor of the impeachment. They have said they did not vote, and to the extent to which the report on the voting at page 98 to 106 in bundle 1 of the governor's report purports that the 4 of them voted is a forgery, Mr. Speaker, sir. The other issue which I want my learned friend to highlight is that it will be noted that there are individuals, based on the login audit that the motion he voted twice. Not only is it reflected in the audit report, he also is on audio as telling one of the people he voted for that, please let me give you some money in exchange to you for indicating my having voted for you. The other one is Honorable Moses Rotich, who voted twice, and Honorable Beatrice Chepkoech. The other issue we wish to advance, Mr. Speaker, sir, and honorable senators, is the Standing Order Enact 7-4, which requires that when you implement the use of electronic voting, then the MCAs will be allowed, and I want to put emphasis on these two. One is to press, not only to press, but to press a button. And Mr. Speaker, sir, it should be a common ground between ourselves and my learned colleagues for the County Assembly that indeed there was no gadget which could be pressed and there was no button to be pressed. What they did is to send a link to the extent to which the standing order requires that you press a button. There was no device which could satisfy the requirement. Mr. Speaker, sir, we would also like to point out that the entry credentials, the affidavit sworn by the IT expert multiple times at page 79 to 83, to 85, is that there was a unique criteria to enter the portal. However, it will be noted, Mr. Speaker, sir, as my learned friend will demonstrate, that the identifiers were merely the payroll number and the ID number. And so anybody who knows the payroll number and the ID number could enter and vote. And indeed, as far as we are concerned, that's what happened. And that's why we are saying that this voting system is not accurate, verifiable, nor auditable. Mr. Speaker, sir, lastly, as I hand over to my learned friend, Mr. Wanyama, is to point out, Mr. Speaker, sir, that immediately after the voting, the site was pulled down. We are made to understand that in response to our having filed our objection, an attempt was made to set up the same link yesterday. But between the time of voting on 15th of August and yesterday and Monday, the site had been down. Mr. Speaker, sir, and honorable members, we contend that indeed this voting system does not satisfy the requirement that indeed a voting should have happened and that voting should have achieved 2/3 of the MCAs to warrant you are having to entertain and determine this preliminary objection. We pray that you decline to accept this motion into your house. Mr. Speaker, sir, I request for 5 minutes from my colleague, Mr. Wanyama.
Yeah, Mr. Speaker, sir, honorable senators, there is a thorny issue which is creeping from our motion. Assembly showed 33 voted in favor of the motion. There are 18 MCAs before this House who say that they never voted for the motion. So outside the legalities, the Senate can determine that question factually by asking all these 18 MCAs whether they voted for the motion or not. because Section 33, Paragraph 2 of the County Government Act, it's what gives this House the powers, the jurisdiction. So we submit that there is no proper motion before the House. Because of that question, it was not supported by the requisite 2/3 majority as required by the law. And why? Volume 4A of the County Assembly documents. Because this is where the explanation comes in. Volume 4A of the County Assembly documents. Now, the County Assembly said that they used a system. They used a system which they were deploying for the first time in this voting, a system. How would an MCA access this system? You will need your IPPD number, your payroll number, and your ID number to access the system to vote. I myself, yesterday, I attempted to access this system, and I was able to access the system which they had put after pulling it down, and I was able to vote using the IPPD number and the ID number of MCS. The IPPD number is available in Volume 4A of the document. Volume 4A of the document, and allow me to just show you the yes, the same document is at volume the governor's bundle at page 259. The governor's bundle at page 259. That is page 1 of volume 4A. You will see the ID numbers of the MCS. These ID numbers were the passwords to access the system. The ID numbers were the passwords to access the system. So the ID numbers are here. They are there. Then the username is contained at page 4 of the County Assembly document. Page 4 of the County Assembly document, you will see the IPPD system. The unique payroll number of each MCA. So that is a system which was deployed. Now, this system fortunately leaves an audit trail. It leaves an audit trail. It's a system which, when you extract it, leaves an audit trail submitted in the House. Page 13, you will see the audit trail. You will see the audit trail. Whatever happened to that system, which you could. And before I go to this audit trail, the persons who could access the system is the clerk, the MCS, and the IT personnel. So the system will tell you the whole story. So from this page 13 and from page 13 to page 14, page 13, 14, 15, you will see the audit trails. And allow me to show you this. This is very significant.
Counsel for Governor, 2 minutes.
Yes, yes. This audit trail will show that there are 3 MCAs who voted twice. And remember, this is from the county. If you look at page 16 of the volume 4A, you will see that an MCA assists the credentials of an MCA, the IPPD number, the payroll number of an MCA, which is 202-002-51726. These are the credentials based on the County Assembly. It says yes. The logs say he voted yes. Now, hold your page on that. On the page 17, look at the same IPPD number. It is the same of the same person. Same MCA, Moses Rotich. It is said he voted again, yes. So he voted twice in this system. That is page 17, the first entry on page 17. The first entry at the top there is the same entry. The same IPPD number of the MCA who is appearing on the call logs as having voted twice. That is, he appears twice, is Beatrice Chepkemoy. On the 9th line, at page 16, on the 9th line, page 16, Mr. Speaker, sir. On the 9th line, at page 16, you will see an MCA voting yes. And the credentials, as you can see there, the IPPD number is 202. Again, 202. 96089. This MCA is based on the County Assembly document. On the fourth line, Mr. Speaker, sir, on the fourth line, you will see the same credentials for Beatrice Chepkemoi, again voting yes, on page 17. Then the last one, Mr. Speaker, sir, with your permission, Mr. Speaker, sir, the last one, the last MCA who voted twice is the move of the motion. The move of the
Council
motion.
for Governor, conclude.
Yes, I'm concluding, Mr. Speaker, sir. The move of the motion, Mr. Speaker, sir. He appears on page 16 of the volume 4A at line 6, and the credentials at line 6 is 202, again 202, Rogoni, the move of the motion. And he voted yes. Now on page 17, you can see the number. Again, he says voting yes. So that from this login trails, we have counted 36 from this report, which the County Assembly has submitted as the evidence. There are 36 yes votes from the audit, from the login trail. 36. But as part of the demonstration of fraud, they were able to say that only 33 voted yes. But the answer is that from their own document, which they have submitted in the Senate, 36 MCAs allegedly voted for this motion. And some were voting twice. Secondly, from this system audit trail, you can see there were 47 attempts to log in at that time. The major attempt was done by the system 7 times, using the ID number, using the IPPD number of the MCS. You cannot see it, Mr. Speaker. You can't see the ID number because the ID number was the password. So you cannot see it. Instead, you will see the IPPD number. So you can see a gentleman known as Peter has attempted to log in 7 times. And the login trail will indicate that there were 47 successful login attempts. And then, this is maybe the second last point as I sit down. The technical people, while this system 2 times, and allow me to just point out the last one at page 17 down there. At page 17, the second last entry on page 17, you will see log user admin. It's the same log user, then accessing the system again at the end of it, and then so our point is that, and then if you do, Mr. Speaker, if I have time, I will tell you, I'll actually show you that there are some MCAs who, or not really MCAs, persons who were able to access the system because the voting duration was between 14 and 45 seconds. You log in, it shows that you have logged in, then you log out for between 14 and 45 seconds. But there are some persons who access the system for more than 2 minutes. They just logged in and then they were there throughout. They were wondering what they were doing in the system. And then lastly, there are persons, if you look at page 13, when the voting is now about to come to an end, at entry number 7, you will see an MCA who had voted. But then, so the question that we are asking is really peremptory as I wind up my submissions on this inquiry. Is this system someone else voted for him? If I, as an advocate, can access the system and vote, so what about persons who have knowledge to the system, including the user developers? They say this system was developed by the IT department internally. And remember, it was being used for the first time by the County Assembly on a very serious matter which has heavy constitutional implications. That is the impeachment of a governor. So we are asking, is this system accurate? Is it verifiable? So in our submissions, and we conclude this by saying, because we have laid basis of fraud, a fraudulent pattern by the persons who are in charge of this system, and because the 17, 18 MCAs are here, this Senate, being a house of record, has an ultimate responsibility to inquire on
your time is up, Council for Governor.
Thank you.
You are
Thank you.
repeating yourself, basically.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. I will sit down.
Council for
Thank
the
you.
County Assembly.
Mr. Speaker, my name is Elisha Ongoya. I beg to reply. For starters, in response to this notice of preliminary objection, the County Assembly has filed grounds of opposition named volume 7. It's a small volume. If it has gone round just a short while ago. And an affidavit named volume 7A, being the affidavit of Edna Chepkirui Tonui. I begin by begging Mr. Speaker that these documents be deemed to be validly on record. They are the documents I alluded to. The written notice of preliminary objection. There are two elements of the objection: that violation of a court order and reintroduction of the motion. Because they have not argued it.
Counsel for the County Assembly.
Having said that, allow me then to start with the issue that Mr. Wanyama, learned counsel, raised here by saying he personally, that qualifies him to be a witness in the system and how he voted, and therefore be a proper subject of cross-examination. Anything short of that, Mr. Speaker, distinguished senators, is nothing more than mere sensationalism. The second issue, Mr. Speaker, is on the allegation of the logs that you have just been taken through. And I wish to run there just 1 minute. It's amazing how sensationalism can arise. But if you go to page number 13 of volume 4A of the County Assembly's documents, the audit logs run from page 13 all the way to page 17. And allow me to demonstrate why you cannot determine this objection on a similar issue. This Senate impeached another governor called Governor Mike Sonko Mbuvi matter. When that matter went into the High Court, there was a petition number E425 of Labour on the National Council for Law Reporting. At paragraph 169 and 170 of that judgment, the three-judge bench of the High Court observed, and I quote, "The court is now left with two separate. On the one hand, some MCS aver that their login credentials were forged. Same thing you are hearing here, and that they never participated in the voting process on 3rd December 2020, and even went to the extent of making a report at Kwale Police Station. Same argument you will hear here. On the other hand, 20 of the swore fresh affidavits on 4th December 2020, stating that they willingly voted on 3rd December 2020. You will find the same scenario in this case before you. Same scenario. The Hansard, this is the High Court saying, which is the official record of the County Assembly, shows that 90 MCS voted of the MCS who are alleged to have been in Kwale, coupled with the lack of any expert evidence in support of the alleged hacking. Let me stop there by demonstrating that Mr. Wanyama is a lawyer like me. He's no expert in ICT. He will not guide you on the functionality of ICT. Coupled with lack of evidence to support the alleged hacking, we find the petitioners did not establish that the 2/3 statutory requirement for the impeachment of the governor was not met. Having said that, let me go to the logs at page 13 to page 17. These are logs in a system, in an ICT system, and yet what you have before you is a printout of those logs. It means one must copy the logs, then print them out. That's the only way we can present the evidence of the logs here. Otherwise, this ICT expert has put the link in his affidavit, and when he takes the witness stand, when the trial starts, he will demonstrate to you how this system works, and you'll see the logs themselves. But to give you a printout which is a requirement of the rules of procedure, one has to copy the logs and put them here. And therefore, if the logs are copied twice, it does not mean that somebody voted twice. Allow me to take you through the exact entries that my learned colleague Mr. Wanyama has alluded to. At page 16 is a log called at 15th of August 2025 at 19:25:29 hours, 7:15 p.m. and 29 seconds. He alleges that there is a vote cast by that IPPD number. And you go to page 17, you see where he's alluding to at the first line, 15th August 2025 at 9:15:29, vote cast by that IPPD number. Let's look at the next log. The next log, 15 August 2015, 19:15:26. Let's go to the corresponding log on the following page, 17, 15th August 2025, 19:15:26. The same hour, the same minute, the same second. Go to the third entry, senators. This is 19:15:23. Then you got the following log, 19:15:23. Failed log. You see the same entries of the same IPPD number by the same person at the same hour, same minute, same second. This is a product of the copying of the logs for purposes of printing. It is not the logs in the system. It's how when you copy the log at pages 21 to page 26 of volume 4A. My apologies, not 26, 28. The results. And if you go to page 22, that is Honorable Chepkemoi Beatrice, you notice she voted yes at 19:15, the results of the vote. These are the results of the vote. This is what the speaker declared. You run from page 21 to page 28. You will see every senator, every MCA who voted yes captured once. I juxtapose this data, and possibly, Mr. Speaker, when the members will be contributing, fortunately for us, this Senate is a crucible of talent. There are multiplicity of talent here, and there are ICT experts among you. They will demonstrate very clearly that you can't, otherwise it will mean that these people were so meticulous that from that entry that Mr. Wanyama began with, up to the second last entry on that page, and when you go to page 17, from the first entry up to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, up to the 11th entry, those people transacted meticulously at the same time, second, minute, hour. It makes no sense. That's number one. Number two, in their submissions, my learned colleagues have said they will call witnesses to prove these facts. It means of witnesses. The forum for testing credibility of witnesses is in the trial itself, so that this ICT take you through these logs and fill the questions, and then you'll be able to test the credibility. And that will be the case for any other person, including members of the county assembly. I'm making out a case that what has been urged before you is not a preliminary objection by any stretch of imagination of that word preliminary objection. These are contentious, convoluted matters of law, which even you have seen, my learned colleague, Mr. Senators. If my learned colleague, Mr. Wanyama, wishes to take the witness stand and adduce that evidence, we have been here long enough to demonstrate veracity of evidence. Allow me then to go to the standing orders. Standing order number 77 of the Kericho County Assembly standing orders is the operating standing order for this process. I will also briefly allude to standing order number 83. Standing order number 77 provides that unless the Speaker, for the convenience of the Assembly, otherwise directs, voting on a division in the Assembly shall be by electronic voting. So that The first grievance that my learned colleagues for the governor are raising is 77.3 provides that during electronic voting, members shall cast their votes by pressing either the yes, no, or abstain button. I sat here and I listened to my learned colleague, Mr. Katwa Kigen, most polite colleague that I know, very courteous colleague that I know, saying that the word button means a manual button. A manual button. Technology has evolved. And when an electronic system prompts you with the 3 electronic buttons, I respect to submit, you have pressed a button. So partly, again, this objection was based on a very manual understanding of the word button. And I don't know how much more I can say about that. But I think, Mr. Speaker, Senators, that's the best I can do. To say that because Kericho County Assembly has technologically advanced, that people can press electronic buttons as we do with our M-Pesa smartphones, we admit yes or no or can. The ATM machine prompts you. You select bank statement, select withdrawal, select electronically on the screen. To say that because Kericho County Assembly is at pace with that technology, we must therefore fault it. It will be a sad day in the history of governance of this country if we reached that verdict. So, Senators, you have been told that certain MCAs have sworn affidavits distancing themselves from the vote. We have demonstrated that this is not a new game in town. Number one, in the Mike Mbuvi Sonko case, that happened. The court determined the Hansard is the authoritative source of information. The only way to counter that is when those witnesses come here in the trial itself. Volume 7A, this is an affidavit of one of the said 18 MCAs denying swearing those affidavits that the governor has read for you. One of them sworn an affidavit is here before you. Distinguished Senators, can we resolve this matter without putting the actual people on the stand at the trial to resolve that matter? I submit respectfully that simple, Mr. Speaker, I know my time is up. May I just get 2 minutes to sum up my argument? Mr. Speaker, my apologies, my time is up. I want to just get some 2 minutes to sum up the argument.
2 minutes.
Thank you so much, Mr. Speaker. So, Mr. Speaker, what that there is a witness affidavit supported by documents running from page 1 of volume 4A, running from page 4 of volume 4A to page 44 of volume 4A, giving you an audit trail of this voting process. Nothing can be a clearer explanation of a verifiable and accountable system of voting than a system that generates this kind of audit trails. So you can't fault a system that can generate this volume of audit trails and say it is faulty. Number two, you have been told that these MCAs are not technologically advanced and could not vote. Pages 1 to page 3 of that volume 4A is evidence of Kericho County Assembly buying for these MCAs laptops to technologically enable them way back in September 2024. Way back in September 2024, and therefore the Assembly has done its part. What is the correct approach to this objection, Mr. Speaker? I suggest that, Mr. Speaker, the matters raised in this objection be subsumed in the trial. These matters be tested through the trial, and these matters be determined as part and parcel of the questions of fact and law that this Senate shall deal with at the voting stage of this motion. I respect you, Mr. Speaker, and I rest the County Assembly's case.
Counsel for the Governor. Now, Honorable Senators, pursuant to Standing Order 34-2A, I will allow not more than 15 minutes from 1 p.m. to enable the team from the County Assembly. You may proceed. You have not more than 15 minutes, because the House must rise at exactly 1:15. You need not take the entire 15 minutes. You may proceed.
Mr. Speaker, sir, the first point we wish to observe is that in response to our preliminary objection, one of the issues we raised in our preliminary objection is that the entry credentials, being the use of an ID number as a password and use of payroll number as username, has not been contested. And the emphasis in it is that those two particulars are publicly available. Anybody who works with the county can easily access the ID number and the payroll number, and therefore it should have been possible. Indeed, it happened that other people intercepted the system. And these buttresses the arguments made by my learned friend, Mr. Wanyama, when he pointed out somebody called Peter and others who logged in, including the admin who in the audit report is indicated as having entered, whilst it is the clerk who is said to be the admin of the system. The second argument, Mr. Speaker, sir, I know might try to belittle the point we are making about the issue of the button and pressing. And Mr. Speaker, sir, and the honorable senators, if it was intended that you can use electronic means and not necessarily a device that is secure, then even the Senate would have otherwise had to use a different system. It would have, in place of requiring, first of all, you will recall that the enactment of that standing order number 77 was made in October 2024. It is hardly a year ago. And so if the Kericho County intended to be very electronically advanced, then they should have, in place of using the word button, said we will use a link to phone. If it was intended that they should not necessarily press but click to vote, then they should have used the word in that standing order number 77.3 to say we will vote by clicking, not press. Mr. Speaker, sir, I insist that the intention of standing order number 77.3 was to ensure that there is an accountable, responsible, and verifiable voting system. Mr. Speaker, sir, my learned friend, in response to the arguments we've made in respect to standing order number 77, has invited your attention to standing order number 80. And he puts emphasis on the prerogative that the Speaker has in allowing the use of electronic voting. In reaction to his invite to you to make reference to standing order number 80, we would like to invite you to the standing order that is immediate before the one he has referred to, standing order number 80, being standing order number 79, which says that if MCS insist that they want to vote by roll call, then the Speaker has no choice, provided there is somebody who has objected and is supported by more than 5 people, is supported by up to 5 people. In this case, Mr. Speaker, sir, we have invited your attention to the fact that there were 18 people who are opposed to this style of voting and wanted a roll call voting. For that reason, Mr. Speaker, sir, it is our argument that the only reason why the Speaker defied the provisions of standing order number 79 is because there was intention to fraudulently misrepresent the votes that were cast by the MCS. Lastly, Mr. Speaker, sir, as I hand over to my learned friend, Mr. Wanyama, it is said that this system was the affidavit by the IT expert that my learned friend, Mr. Ongoya, has repeatedly made reference to. And one of the things then that come up for your consideration in our preliminary objection is this. Can we determine for a fact that the 4 MCS who say they didn't vote indeed voted? And honorable senators and Mr. Speaker, sir, it is my submission that the only way we can determine that is to determine whether the link was sent to that respective MCA and that MCA specifically voted using his number that the link was sent to. And Mr. Speaker, sir, you will see from the audit logs that the audit log does not indicate anywhere the numbers to which the link was sent, nor the IP address of the devices that were sent. And therefore, it goes into the question of the scheme to manipulate these votes. The inverse of that, and the only way that the county could possibly say that they have an absolute answer to the question of whether or not the votes were manipulated, is if they could demonstrate that indeed the link was sent to an individual, and that the IP address of that phone gadget was the one that cast those votes. Mr. Speaker, sir, to the extent that the audit report brought to you avoids permission, as I hand over to my learned friend, Mr. Voting, and therefore the threshold of 2/3 was not achieved. But as a rider to that argument, Mr. Speaker, sir, and the honorable senators, it is our argument that even if, as my learned friend says, there is a possibility that this system was okay, if there is doubt in your minds that indeed this system might not have been foolproof, if there is doubt, that is enough reason for you to decline entertaining and determining this motion. For all those reasons, Mr. Speaker, sir, and honorable senators, we pray that you reject this motion on the basis that you are not satisfied that indeed there was a motion that was properly considered, that it was properly voted for, and that the purport that there were 33 MCAs supporting the motion has been achieved. That's all, Mr. Speaker.
Yeah, Mr. Speaker, sir, I will stick to the time. Just in quick rebuttal, I would like to invite the honourable senators to look at the governor's response at page 113. My colleague, Mr. Ngoya, talked about one MCA. That's the governor's response, page 113. The governor's response, volume 1, at page 113. The governor's response, volume 1, at page 113, properly before it must be satisfied on the threshold. From the 47 MCAs in the county assembly, at least the threshold requires that 32 of them vote in favor of the impeachment motion. Now, at page 113, it is true what Mr. Ongoya has said, that one MCA has sworn an affidavit. Principally, the jumped ship swore an affidavit saying that they didn't meant what they said. But there are 17 other MCAs who have evidence in support of the PO at page 113. 17 MCAs. Ultimately, this is a process that follows the law. The Constitution is the Senate is a house of record, house that follows the Constitution, follows the law and the standing orders. And look is the evidence of 17 MCAs who have said they never supported the motion. So what does it mean? Do we have contrary evidence to rebut the cogent allegations by these 17 MCAs? If you do a quick calculation, minus 47, minus the 17 from 47, how many numbers do we? 33, 2 of the County Government Act? The answer is definitely not. Do we need to wait for this person to be subjected to trial the way Mr. Ongoya has invited? The answer is no. The evidence is before the Senate to determine the issue. What about the logs? We are relying on the logs given to us by the County Assembly. They are the ones with access to the system. They printed it out and submitted to the Senate. We are simply relying on it, and we have pointed out more than 10 mistakes on the logs. Why can't they just do impeachment on the right thing? Why are they hiding in technology, trying to manipulate the votes for purposes of achieving an objective which the Constitution requires a very high threshold? Just to finish, Mr. Speaker, sir, we have also audio evidence, KB1, which we request that when you retire, you can have opportunity to look at it. That is KB1. It just fortifies it fortifies this fundamental point that we have a problem on this matter that is before the Senate. at a threshold question. Your Honor, my colleague is, Mr. Speaker, sir, asking if we can play the audio. We have time for the audio. With your permission, can we play it?
Proceed. You have 2 minutes to do that. The Senate will rise at exactly 1:15.
Yes, we are requesting that KB1 be played.
Mr. Speaker, subject to your guidance, I'm just wondering whether introduction of new evidence in this matter, I'll be able to respond to it, because that's now new evidence.
It is part of the bundle. It's part of the evidence that is already on record.
Because we can't comment on it once they have played it, but we could have commented on it, Mr. Speaker. If they had played it earlier, then we can comment in our response.
Just proceed and play the video.
Mr. Speaker, sir, we request for the KB1 to be played by the ICT staff.
We urge more counties to do their own ERP system just the way they are doing. It is something that has made the county work efficiently in terms of their elections.
Your Honor, the screens, Mr. Speaker, said the screens are off. There was a transcript.
Kifutani enina bread sainen abdavit ko rone abi bet invato ramuda demone 200,000 abi rabza
oja walso
imaje anaiweni
jeba ga imuta bidet ay biriba odo ba bari wolo fori na mugimo
dubaya muti mache ni ma moje cha
ami resa ka sa ni lo piu Yeah. Come on, Ruru. Yeah, thank you, bro. Come on, Lini. Do it. I isn't it the other?
Time is up.
Yes, Mr. Speaker, sir. Thank
I'm
you.
afraid
Thank you very much.
Start beyond 1:15.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, sir.
Now, Honorable Senator, just take a seat. Take a seat. Take a seat. I will deliver my ruling at exactly 2:30 today on the matters that have been raised. Senate, arise. Honorable Senators, it is now 1:15 p.m. time to adjourn the Senate. The Senate therefore stands adjourned until today, Wednesday, 27th of August 2025 at 2:30 p.m. sisi watumishi wake wajalie tuyatende ufanisi na heri ya nchi yetu na wale ambao haja zao umezikabidhi mikononi mwetu. Amen. Sergeant at arms, kindly ring the quorum bell for 10 minutes.
Good morning. If you're just joining us, these are live pictures from the Senate chambers. There is a slight quorum hitch, and the Speaker ordered the quorum bell to be rung so that the respective leadership in the House can mobilize the senators to come take their seats so that the business of the Senate can begin. This morning, the senators will be considering the impeachment of Kericho Governor Honorable Eric Mutai, and there will be a closed session, that is the pre-hearing meeting for the senators. It's supposed to last 1 hour, and thereafter the session will be back on air for the preliminaries, where there will be recital of the mandate of the Senate, rules of procedure, and hearing program. There will also be the introduction of members of the County Assembly of Kericho representing the County Assembly and their council, if any, and there will also be the introduction of Governor of Kericho and the council representing the Governor, if any. Thereafter, the charges will be read, and it will be followed by preliminary questions or issues, and later the Senate will take a break and will resume, where there will be the opening statement on behalf of the County Assembly. There is an allocation of time, 30 minutes, followed by the opening statement on behalf of the Governor. Also, the time allocated here is 30 minutes. It will be followed by evidence by the Council or the County Assembly, and this is evidence of witnesses, if any, cross-examination and re-examination, and this has been allocated a total of, and re-examination, if any, the Governor, maximum of 2 hours for cross-examination, and thereafter the Senate will adjourn. The special sitting is scheduled to take place today, tomorrow, and Friday. The business of the Senate is considering the impeachment of Governor Eric Mutai, the Governor of Kericho County, who was impeached by the County Assembly, and his impeachment was brought to the Senate for hearing. Any moment now, the business of the Senate will commence, and this is not the first time that the senators are engaging in this kind of business. It is the mandate of the Senate to hear the impeachment of governors, and it has done so over the years. So this morning, all the way to the evening, tomorrow and on Friday, the senators will be considering the dispute that is arising from the impeachment of the Kericho County Governor. And just a quick recap of the order of business this morning. There will be the pre-hearing meeting where there will be recital of the mandate of the Senate, the rules of procedure, and the hearing program. After the hearing program, there will be introduction of members of the County Assembly of Kericho representing the County Assembly and the Council, if any. There will also be the introduction of the Governor of Kericho County and the Council representing the Governor, if any. And thereafter, the charges will be read. This will take approximately 30 minutes. And after that, there will be preliminary questions or issues. And after that, the Senate will take a break. And when it resumes at 2:30, there will be the opening statement on behalf of the County Assembly. The time allocation here is 30 minutes, followed by the opening statement on behalf of the Governor. Also time allocated there is 30 minutes. Thereafter, there will be evidence by the County Assembly, evidence of witnesses, if any, cross-examination and re-examination. The time allocated for this exercise is 5 hours. It includes the County Assembly, maximum of 3 hours for evidence by witness and re-examination, if any, and the Governor, maximum of 2 hours for cross-examination. After that, the Senate will adjourn and resume the sittings tomorrow. If you're just joining us, these are live pictures from the Senate. The quorum is yet to be achieved, and as soon as the quorum is achieved, you'll be able to follow the proceedings live on KBC Channel 1 and on YouTube, courtesy of the Parliament of Kenya YouTube channel. The procedure for removal of a governor is contained in the standing orders of the Senate. It says that within 7 days after receiving notice of a resolution from the Speaker of a County Assembly supporting the removal of a governor of the county pursuant to Article 181 of the Constitution, the Speaker of the Senate shall convene a meeting of the Senate to hear charges against the governor, and the Senate may, by resolution, appoint a special committee comprising 11 of its members to investigate the matter, or investigate the matter in plenary. In this case, the case against the governor will be considered or investigated in plenary. The Senate sitting in plenary or the special committee appointed under subsection 1 shall within 10 days investigate the matter, and in the case of the special committee, report to the Senate on whether it finds the particulars of the allegations against the governor to have been substantiated. The governor shall have the right to appear and be represented before the Senate or a special committee during the investigations. If the special committee reports that the particulars of any allegation against the governor have not been substantiated, no further action shall be taken under this section have been substantiated. The Senate shall, after according the governor.
Order, honorable senators, we do have quorum now, so let's get down with today's business. Clerk, you may call the first order.
Order number 1, communication from the chair.
Now, honorable senators, you will recall that at the special sitting of the Senate held on Wednesday, the 20th of August 2025, I appointed today, Wednesday, 27th of August 2025, Thursday, 28th of August 2025, and Friday, 29th of August 2025, as the days when the Senate will hear the charges for the proposed removal from office by impeachment of Honorable Eric Mutai, the Governor of Kericho County. Now, via the Gazette Notice number 11-796, dated the 21st of August 2025, I notify the general public that pursuant to Standing Order 81B2 of the Senate Standing Orders, the Senate shall investigate the proposed removal from office by impeachment of Honorable Eric Mutai, the Governor of Kericho County, in plenary. Consequently, a hearing program has been prepared and appended to the order paper for today. Now, honorable senators, ladies and gentlemen, in accordance with the schedule of activities for an impeachment hearing in plenary, the Senate will hold a closed-door preparatory session to deliberate on the management of the investigation. The objective of the preparatory session is to ensure that the process is conducted seamlessly, concluded tenaciously, and in line with the requirements set out under the Constitution, the County Governments Act, and the Senate Standing Orders. Now, honorable senators, during the pre-hearing, the parties, if they are present, all members of the public and the media will be expected to withdraw from the chamber, and the galleries and any form of broadcasting from the chamber shall cease forthwith. Consequently, I now direct the parties, all members of the public, and the media to withdraw from the chamber and the galleries, and that any form of broadcast from the chamber to cease forthwith. In accordance with the hearing program for an impeachment hearing in plenary, the open session will commence at 10 a.m. I thank you.
called to the performance of important trusts in this republic. Let your blessings descend upon us here assembled, and grant that we treat and consider all matters that shall come under deliberation in so just and faithful a manner as to promote your honor and glory, and to advance the peace, prosperity, and welfare of our country and of those whose interest you have committed to our charge. Amen. Sergeant at Arms, ring the quorum bell for 10 minutes.
Well, the business of the National Assembly is about to commence. The House is facing a quorum hitch. The prayer has been said and the chair taken, but the quorum hasn't been raised yet. The Deputy Speaker has directed that the quorum bell be rung for 10 minutes. Currently what you are seeing on your screens, that is inside the National Assembly chambers. Members are still making their way inside. At this point, when the quorum bell is underway, no member is allowed to walk out. This is, of course, to ensure that the numbers present is not interfered with, and that the members that are walking in then can be easy for those keeping tabs with the numbers inside be able to ensure that the number the quorum hitch, and that is why that quorum bell is underway. Of course, to give room to the members who may be undertaken. Remember, this is a sitting that the House resolved to hold. Normally, the Tuesday sittings are usually held in the afternoon, that is 2:30 in the PM. However, owing to the recess that the members are about to commence, and regarding the business that is yet to be dispensed with, within able to dispense with the number of business that is deemed urgent to be concluded with before they proceed on that particular recess. So this is a sitting that the members themselves resolved to hold, and of course we believe that they will be able to quicken their steps and be able to join their colleagues inside the chamber. A chilly morning it is, but we believe that the House will be able to correct and be able to transact that which is lined up for conceding. Assembly, Bill number 41 of 2024, a bill that was debated conclusively on the floor of the House. At its second reading stage will this morning be also considered. A question will be put for this particular bill to proceed to the next stage. That is consideration at the Committee of the Whole House, in case there are amendments that were moved by the members during its debate at the second reading stage. So that is part of the business that the members will be transacting this morning as they hold this particular meeting. At this point, the leadership of the House, especially the whips, normally mobilize the members who may be within the precincts of Parliament but have not gotten to the chamber. Then it risks being adjourned until the next sitting, being this afternoon 2:30. However, if the quorum is raised, then they will be able to continue with the business. So it is upon the members to avail themselves and enable the House attain or correct as is needed, and be able to conduct the business that is lined up for consideration, because failure to showing up, then that means that might interrupt with the quorum that is needed, and that would mean that the House adjourns until the next sitting. So as we wait for the quorum to be able to be raised, we shall continue to take a look at the business that is lined up for consideration. The Advocates Amendment Bill, a bill also originating from the National Assembly, sponsored by the Chairperson, Departmental Committee on Justice and Legal Affairs. This is a committee bill that is coming up also for first reading. This morning, two bills are lined up for consideration at the Committee of the Whole House. You will recall the debate that was done comprehensively and conclusively on the floor of the House regarding the Air Passenger Service Charge Amendment Bill, government bill, as well as the Virtual Assets Service Providers Amendment Bill. The virtual asset seeks to provide for the legal framework to license and regulate. So debate on this particular bill was done comprehensively or conclusively on the floor of the House and this morning.
Quorum bell for another 5 minutes.
Of the Deputy Speaker of the National Assembly, Honorable Gladys Boss, has directed that the quorum bell be rung for a further 5 minutes. This clearly means that the lapse of the 10-minute quorum bell, the House failed to raise that much needed quorum. Remember, as provided for in the House Standing Order, the lapse of the first 10-minute quorum bell, the second one will be rung, that is for 5 minutes. Of course, this is an allowance to the members who are running late to at least be able to hasten their steps and be able to join their colleagues inside the chambers. As you can see, much as we are seeing members inside the chambers, but that number is not members of the National Assembly should be inside the chamber or shall be seated at the time the prayer is said and the chair taken for the House to be deemed to have quorated. If that is not present, then that will mean that a quorum bell be rung, of course, for the members ahead of a recess that is expected or set to commence tomorrow. So this is a sitting that the members resolved to hold to be able to dispense with a number of priority business that they wish to dispense with before they proceed on that particular recess. However, on a Tuesday like this, the time allocated for the sitting or the normal sitting of the House is 2:30 in the PM. So this is a sitting that the members opted to hold just to be able to conclude on a number of business. As I had indicated earlier, 2 bills will be considered at the Committee of the Whole, but remember, all this is subject to the quorum. If the quorum is raised, then they will be able to proceed with the business. If that quorum is not present, as provided for in the House Standing Order, then the House risks being adjourned until 2:30 in the PM. The matter of lack of quorum at the commencement of the House is an issue that the Speaker has been addressing, pleading with the members and also directing that the House ought not to lack quorum at the commencement, because if the quorum is not present, then the business that is lined up for consideration during that particular sitting ends up not being considered and moved to the next sitting, which further also interrupts with the business as per the calendar of the House. So if you are just joining us, do not worry. The House is facing a quorum hitch. As you can see, more members are still making their way into the chamber. The prayer has been said and the chair taken, but the House cannot commence yet owing to that quorum hitch, and that is why there is that delay in the commencement of the House business. Time allocated for the sitting this morning was 10 in the AM. It's now 15 minutes past, and the House hopes that it will be able to attain the quorum for it to continue with transacting the business that has been lined up for consideration this morning. A motion regarding the consideration of the 5th report on examination of financial statements on selected state corporations will also be considered this morning. The state corporations include the National Social Security Fund for the financial year 2020-2021, the Kenya Marine and Fisheries Research Institute for the financial year 2019-2020 to 2020-2021, National Hospital Insurance Fund for financial year 2018-2019 to 2020-2021, and the Kenya Broadcasting Corporation for the financial year 2013-2014 to 2018-2019. This is a report that was laid on the table of the House on Tuesday, 5th of August 2025, by the departmental committee or the watchdog committee, one of the watchdog committees, that is the Public Investments Committee on Social Services, Administration and Agriculture. So that is part of the business that the members will be able to transact this morning. Remember, the House is just waiting to correct. Otherwise, the business would have started at 10 when the prayer was said and the chair taken. However, that is not so, and therefore the second round of quorum bell, that is 5-minute quorum bell, is underway. The 10-minute quorum bell, the first round has lapsed without the House raising that quorum, and the Speaker directed that a further 5 minutes be run, because this is according to the standing orders, order number 34, paragraph 1. A further 5-minute quorum bell is underway for at least to give room to the members who are running late to be able to get to the chambers and enable the House to raise that much needed quorum. I can see that at least a good number of members has walked in, so we hope that the Speaker shall, if that quorum is not present, that will mean that the House adjourns. We should be waiting for a communication from the Speaker to indicate to us that whether the quorum has been raised or not, because at this point the 5 minutes may have lapsed already, but we shall be waiting to hear on the direction that the Speaker will be giving. Pursuant to provisions of Standing Order 44, paragraph 2C, that gives an opportunity to members to be able to request for statements from various departmental committees. The Honorable Member, nominated Member Abubakar Talib, will be requesting for a statement from the Committee on Transport, and this is a statement that the member will be elaborating on as he makes his presentation and seeking for answers from the Committee on Transport and Infrastructure. The member for Langata, Honorable Felix Odwar, will also be seeking for a statement or requesting for a statement from the Committee on Communication, Information and Innovation regarding provision of an express counter for emergency cases on the e-citizen platform. There are also statements that were earlier on requested by responses that members had requested for regarding some statements. This morning, the Committee on Tourism and Wildlife will be giving responses to 4 statements that the members had sought. Some of these statements include a statement by the Honorable Member for Chepalungu, Victor Koech, regarding human-wildlife conflict in Chepalungu constituency. The Committee on Tourism and Wildlife will also respond to a statement that this is with regards to the perennial human-wildlife conflict in Igembe North. Of course, while the committee is responding to this particular concern, members believe that it will be also addressing the same concerns that various parts of the country have raised regarding human-wildlife conflict. The Committee on Tourism and Wildlife again will also respond to a statement that was requested by the Honorable nominated Member Irene Mayaka regarding declaration of protected areas in Nyamira County, and also a statement that had been requested by the Honorable Member for Sirisia, Honorable John Waluke, regarding the decline in performance in the tourism sector in the country, will also be responded to this morning by the Committee on Tourism and Wildlife. We are just waiting to hear from the Speaker whether the quorum has been raised. A substantive number of members has walked in.
Members, pursuant to the provisions of Standing Order 35-2, there being no quorum, the House stands adjourned to Tuesday, 19th August 2025 to 2:30 p.m. Today afternoon. Okay.
Papers, next order. For this. There isn't the papers? Let me see. Now, members, there are papers to be laid by the following persons. There's a co-chairperson, the Joint Parliamentary Committee on Vetting of Nominees, member of Central Bank, Kenya. Is that ready? The Honorable Nyikal, do you have a paper you're laying this morning? Do you? Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I beg to lay the following paper on the table of the House today, Wednesday, 13 August 2025. Report of the Departmental Committee on Health on the harmonization of the proposed amendment 22. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. Proceed to lay. Who is the chair, the co-chairperson of the Joint Parliamentary Committee on Vetting of the nominee for member of Central Bank of Kenya? I would imagine this will be the chairperson of Finance. Okay, we can skip that and come back to it. Next order.
Order number 6, notices of motion.
Is the chair of Finance Committee here? I think we'll also skip that and probably they're not ready. Next order.
Order number 7, questions and statements.
Oh, members, I want you to be alert so that we're able to do this as quickly as possible. We have in the order paper listed the questions and statements for today. We'll start with the member for Central Imenti. Is Honorable Kirima in the house? It's not in today, so question is stood over. The statements, we'll start with Honorable Gian Kagiri. Not in yet. The Honorable Sankaire.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I have a request for a statement regarding the status of the investigations of reported cases of child trafficking and sexual exploitation in Maimahiu. Honorable Speaker, pursuant to the provisions of Standing Order 44, Section 2C, I rise to request for a statement from the Chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Administration and Internal Security regarding the status of investigations into reported cases of child trafficking and sexual exploitation in Maimahiu in Nakuru County. Honorable Speaker, on Monday, 4th August 2025, an investigative journalist unveiled the horrifying account of minors being trafficked and exploited for sexual purposes in Maimahiu. Notably, the residents in the area have in the past raised concerns to the police, urging them to take appropriate action, but no investigation and arrest have been made. Article 53 of the Constitution provides that every child has the right to be protected from all forms of exploitation, including from abuse, neglect, harmful cultural practices, all forms of violence, inhumane treatment, and punishment, and hazardous or exploitive labor. Honorable Speaker, the inordinate delay in investigations and apprehension of suspects emboldens the perpetrators and exposes children to more abuse and trauma. If not urgently addressed, these inhumane acts stand to negatively affect children, particularly girls in the area. Honorable Speaker, it is against this background that I request for a statement from the Chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Administration and Internal Security on the following. A comprehensive report on the status of investigations regarding the reported cases of child trafficking and sexual exploitation in Maimahiu and in Nakuru County. 2, the steps being taken by the government to ensure that perpetrators of the heinous crimes are identified, arrested, and prosecuted.
Number 3, measures that the government is putting in place to dismantle the child trafficking and sexual exploitation networks in Mai Mahiu and similar hotspots across the country. Number 4, measures that the government is taking to provide immediate care, psychological support, and rehabilitation that the government has put in place to safeguard the rights of children to protection and to protect them from all forms of exploitation. I thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you. Honourable members, you may be aware, as communicated yesterday, that this afternoon the Commissioner for Interior will be in the House to respond to such. So I would rather that we hold our horses and ask those questions to him. It will be a better thing to do than to ask follow-up questions now when the relevant minister will be in the House this afternoon. So all you need to do is to be in the House in the afternoon and raise these issues in his presence, because as you would be aware, even as we refer these matters to the relevant committee, the committee will have to summon the minister who will be in the House this afternoon. So be in the House and raise these issues you want to raise this morning with him. I think that's better guidance, and I hope members are accordingly guided. The next request for statements from the member for Ndaragwa, Honorable George Gachagua. He is not in the House. Members of Parliament should take their work seriously. By being in the House, especially when they file questions at the table office, whether they can ask them. The Honourable Member for Loima, Honourable Akuja.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. Honourable Speaker, I rise to request for a statement regarding the school feeding program in public primary schools in marginalized communities. Honourable Speaker, pursuant to the provision of Standing Order 44.2c, I wish to request for a statement from the chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Education regarding the school feeding program under State Department for Basic Education. Honourable Speaker, the school feeding program is a key initiative implemented by the State Department for Basic Education to promote access to education in increasing school enrollment, improving health of school-going children, and enhancing overall academic performance. However, it is deeply concerning the public primary schools in Asal area, especially in Turkana County, are facing acute shortage of food supply since the commencement of each term, which has been a recurring problem. Schools receive food at the end of every term when schools are already closed, which serve no purpose. Many vulnerable children who are motivated by availability of food in schools have been forced to drop out of school. This shortage severely undermines the welfare of the learners and has a negative impact on the education sector in the region. Honourable Speaker, it is against this background that I request for a statement from the chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Education on the following. 1. Reason for persistent delay of food supply to public primary school in Asal regions. 2. Report on assessment of the operational capacity of the State Department of Education to meet the education needs of marginalized communities, including the challenges the State Department may be facing. 3. Plans for immediate intervention to ensure timely supply of food to affected schools. Thank you, Honourable Speaker.
The chairperson on Committee on Education. Education, yes, this question is directed to that committee. The Honourable Said, how long would you?
Let's do it first week upon resumption of after recess.
But did you hear the question?
I'll get the statement. Yes, I had.
Order. Did you hear the question? Yesterday by the Speaker. And this goes to all the chairs of committees. They said only have a chair of a committee and a vice chair. The idea that now committees appoint members of Parliament to come and respond to questions is avoidable, because the reason we appoint chairmen of committees and their vice chairs is that they have responsibilities and they are paid for those responsibilities. And so this has to go to all the chairs. The issue of keeping on delegating without authority is not a good idea for the proper working of Parliament. The Honorable Akuja.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I'm surprised by this particular committee, or rather the Minister of Education. I asked a question 3 weeks ago, and they gave 2 weeks as the time upon which they will be able to respond. This is the third week, and that particular response has not been brought. And this is not the first time this particular ministry is not responding to members' questions. And I wonder, even this particular chairman or chairpersons of these committees, I don't know what becomes of them. Like there is a question asked the chairperson Budget and Appropriation Committee. He was supposed to bring the response on the 26th of June. That chairperson has not appeared in this chamber. I don't know what happens to chairperson of a Budget and Appropriation Committee when they become chairpersons. 26, I've not seen him.
We are not We are not discussing the chairperson of the Budget Committee. Your matter is a very specific matter directed to the Committee on Education. And the committee is so directed that the response to this will be filed the first week upon resumption from recess. Thank you. Now, the member for Machakos County, Honorable Joyce Kameme. Yes, go ahead and raise your statement.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I request for a statement regarding the safety and security of pedestrians using the Mlolongo Footbridge. Honorable Speaker, pursuant to the provision of Standing Order 44-2C, I rise to request for a statement from the chairperson of the Department Committee of Roads and Transport regarding the safety and security of pedestrians using the Mlolongo Footbridge. Honorable Speaker, the main objective of the provision of pedestrian footbridges was to enhance safety for pedestrians and at the same time reduce pedestrians and traffic conflicts. However, the Mlolongo Footbridge, which was once intended to be a secure route, has deteriorated into a dangerous zone. It is now frequently used by border riders, posing a serious risk to pedestrians, particularly during peak hours in the morning and evening. In addition, the presence of hawkers has further congested the bridge, restricting free movement and creating confusion. These conditions have turned the footbridge into a house on motorbikes. The residents are also concerned that persons with disability, PWDs, are the most vulnerable to these incidents as they struggle to navigate the dangerous bridge, calling for interventions to ensure their safety and security. Honorable Speaker, it is against this background the Committee of Roads and Transport on the following: measures taken to ensure the safety and security of pedestrians, particularly persons with disability, using the Mlolongo Footbridge. Number 2, steps taken to regulate and support hawkers in a manner that safeguards their livelihoods, which preserving pedestrian safety when crossing the footbridge. And the third one, the immediate steps taken to stop unauthorized use of the footbridge by motorbike riders and the initiatives made to provide alternative routes or designate space for motorbike users, thereby reducing congestion on the footbridge. Honorable Speaker, thank you.
This assessment is directed to the relevant committee, the Committee on Transport and Infrastructure. Is the chairperson in the House? and the Vice Chairperson. The Honorable Kamene. The Honorable Kamene. What have you just done? Just hold on. Honorable Kamene. You've done what you've just done twice. It's never done like that. When I called your name, you crossed like that without doing the right thing. You've now just done the same thing again. It's not done like that. Now do the right thing. Do the right thing now and then come and say. Whether you're taking water or your phone, you have to follow the rules. Well done. So the Honorable Dawood, are you the Vice Chair or the Chair of the... Okay, go ahead.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. We will respond 2 weeks after the recess, after we come back. Thank you.
The earlier communication I've given still stands, that this House frowns upon chairpersons of committees who have taken responsibility and then now keep on pushing us all around because they don't want to come to the House. It's just not, because there's no way we're going to hold the Honorable Dawood responsible, and he's not the chair of the Committee on Infrastructure. But we'll hold you to your word on this. So. Now, I will indulge the member from Daragua who has just walked in to raise his statement.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I raise to request for a statement regarding the abduction of Mr. Ambrose Mwangi, a Kenyan in Somalia. Honorable Speaker, pursuant to the provision of Standing Order 44(2) Section C, I wish to request for a statement from the chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Defense, Intelligence and Foreign Relations regarding the abduction of Mr. Ambrose Kimiti Mwangi, a Kenyan in the Federal Republic of Somalia. Honorable Speaker, in September 2023, Mr. Ambrose Mwangi was employed by Icarus, a British-based company contracted by the United Nations Somalia to conduct medical evaluations and support rescue missions in combat zones. On 10th January 2024, while undertaking one of the rescue missions over the Galgaduud region in central Somalia, an area which is infiltrated by Al-Shabaab militants, the helicopter in which Mr. said to his family that upon crash landing, the crew and passengers were immediately taken hostage by suspected Al-Shabaab militants. It has now been over a year and a half since his disappearance in Somalia. Yet no substantial update has been communicated to the family regarding the progress of investigations and rescue. The family remains in a state of distress and uncertainty, with no clarity on Mr. Mwangi's whereabouts or safety. The situation raises serious concern about the safety of Kenyan citizens working abroad, as well as the effectiveness of our diplomatic interventions in such situations. Honorable Speaker, it is against this background that I request for a statement from the chairperson of Departmental Committee on Defense, Intelligence and Foreign Relations on the following. A report on the status of investigations into the abduction of Mr. Ambrose Mwangi in Somalia, and 2, measures being taken by the Ministry of Foreign and Diaspora Affairs to assist in locating the whereabouts of Mr. Mwangi, including coordination with Somalia authorities. Steps the ministry has taken to ensure his safe return and mechanism to provide regular updates to his family. I thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Who's the Vice Chair? This isn't a matter for a member saying we'll do this. The Honorable Deputy Majority Leader, this is a very serious matter, and I don't want it to be treated like any other matter. A Kenyan abducted abroad in a friendly country. This is not a matter for a member of any committee to drag their hands up and say, respond. No. This is a matter that requires a serious attention. And so it's upon you, as the Deputy Majority Leader, to ensure that this is followed through, not just answered, but followed through, so that this House gets to know the fate of Mr. Ambrose Kimiti Mwangi. Go ahead.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. Honourable Speaker, I've heard the member, and this is a serious matter. I think we have a right as a government to protect case matter, and therefore I want to undertake to speak to the chairperson of Defence and Foreign Relations, because I think that's where it falls, so that we can expedite the process of making sure that this Kenyan is back in the country and safe. I'll do that. I'm much obliged.
In any case, how long do you need to at least give the House a response to this?
By tomorrow.
Okay, great. That would be so good.
Yes, by tomorrow.
And we hope that you keep your word and give us
thank you.
A response tomorrow. Is Honorable Kirima now in the House? If it's not, then we go by the Committee on Education. There's a statement requested by the Honorable Onaya, one by the Honorable Anthony Watch, and another by the Honorable Anna Murada. To be responded to by the Committee on Education. By the Chairperson of the Committee on Education, the Vice Chair, the Honorable Gisairo, you will walk out from this House and look for your chair. When he comes, I'll allow him to respond. Otherwise, I won't allow you to do so, for the obvious reasons stated earlier. Yes, look for him or the Vice to... Okay, good. So that those questions will be responded to for that reason. And I don't need to belabor that going forward, the House will not allow an ordinary member to respond to questions on the floor, because you have chairs and vice chairs. This is the order from the Speaker, and the chairs better take note and act accordingly. Next order. Remember, for the convenience of the House, I would request that we go back to order number 5 and then order number 6 accordingly. On the matter that we have stood over, the matter of vetting of the member nominated to member of the Central Bank of Kenya. Honorable Naomi Wako.
Honorable Speaker, I beg to lay the following papers on the table of the House today, Wednesday, 13th August 2025. Joint report of the National Assembly Departmental Committee on Finance and National Planning and the Senate Standing Committee on Finance and Budget on the approval hearing of a nominee for appointment as board member of the Central Bank of Kenya. Thank you, Honorable Speaker, and I lay.
The next order. You can go ahead to give the notice of motion.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I give notice of motion on co-chairperson Joint Parliamentary Committee on vetting of the nominee as a member of the board of the Central Bank of Kenya. Approval hearing of nominee for appointment as member of the board of the Central Bank. Honorable Speaker, I beg to give notice of the following motion, that taking into consideration the finding of the Joint Committee of the National Assembly Departmental Committee on Finance and National Planning and the Senate Standing Committee on Finance and Budget on the approval hearing of nominee for appointment as a board member of the Central Bank of Kenya. laid on the table of the House this morning, and pursuant to Section 1 to Section 11.2 of the Central Bank of Kenya Act Cap 491, this House approves the appointment of Mr. Pius Angasa as a board member of the Central Bank of Kenya. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
The Honorable Sunkuli, what is out of order?
For purposes of moving a motion, for purposes of moving a motion and giving notice of motion, is the member in order to say that this house is laid on the table of this House this morning, because tomorrow that motion will not be reading this morning, it will read the exact date. Can't she read the motion the way it will always appear?
Don't go on work for clarity, and you know the Honorable Sunkuli is now a ranking member. Go ahead and do what is requested to do.
Honorable Speaker, I beg to give notice of the following motion that taking into consideration the finding of the Joint Committee of the National Assembly, Departmental Committee on Finance and National Planning, and the Senate Standing Committee on Finance and Budget on the approval hearing of the nominee for appointment as a board member of the Central Bank of Kenya, laid on the table of the House on Wednesday, 13th August 2025, and pursuant to Section 112 of the Central Bank of Kenya Act Cap 491, this House approves the appointment of Mr. Pius Angasa as a board member of the Central Bank of Kenya. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Then, members of the conveners of the House informed that the Honorable Kirima and the Honorable Kagiri are now in the House. We request members that when you have matters listed in the order paper, you be here on time and early, because it's only through your presence that we get quorum and we also carry out the business of the House. So the Honorable Kirima, go ahead and request a statement.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Sir, I'm very sorry that I was caught up in a very bad jam. Thank you. My question, Mr. Speaker, sir, is that I'm asking, could the Commission, State Measures Teachers Service Commission, is taking to address the wrong-standing and employment of P1 trained teachers who have been remained and absorbed since the year 2010. Number two, can the Commission explain why teachers who attended promotional interviews for head teachers and deputy head teachers positions were overlooked, despite some having served in the acting capacities for over 5 years, relegating the same teachers to regular classroom roles in the same schools? 3. Can the Commission state the reason why teachers from Central Imenti constituency were overlooked, whereas junior teachers from other counties were promoted and posted to schools there in Central Imenti? Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
The chairperson of the Committee on Education, there's a question to you regarding the absorption of P1 teachers who have remained unabsorbed since 2010. I hope you have the question. How long do you need to respond to that question?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I think because we are heading for recess the first week when we are back, because we shall actually, this issue, we've been handling it with the committee, especially of the 45 years and above, and the several P1 teachers who actually cleared their courses from 2009 up to now, and many of them have not been absorbed. So they brought us some statement a few weeks ago regarding the member for cases, but the figures were not adding up. So I shall combine this particular question with the other question, so that I will have a comprehensive report to the House immediately we are back from recess. Thank you.
Yeah. I think we leave that and wait for the report from the... And the question is elaborate, Honorable Chair. I want you to get time to look at the other paper. It's a very elaborate question on P1 teachers, on promotions, and specifically now on teachers from the mentee central. Honorable Kagiri.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for being magnanimous enough to indulge us. Honorable Speaker, pursuant to provisions of Standing Order 44-2C, I wish to request for a statement regarding the effect of the ban by the government of the United Republic of Tanzania on operation of foreign businesses by non-citizens, particularly Kenyans. Honorable Speaker, I also wish to clarify that from the outset that in accordance with the provisions of Standing Order 87, this statement is not intended to question or discuss the conduct of any individual or head of state of the Republic of Tanzania, but rather to draw the attention of this House to a matter of regional policy concern. On July 28, 2025, the United Republic of Tanzania issued the business licensing in brackets prohibition of business activities for non-citizens, Order 2025, which seeks to prohibit specific business activities for non-citizens. This directive prohibits non-citizens from operating in 15 sectors, including business of sale of goods, on-farm, crop purchasing operations, ownership and operation of micro and small industries, among other sectors. The order is worrying as it contradicts the spirit of the integration of the East African Community, EAC, espoused in the East African Community Treaty 2000, particularly on the free movement of goods, services, capital and persons, and the elimination of trade barriers among partner states. The move by Tanzania also risks undermining regional integration, rolling back the gains made in creating a common market under the EAC Common Market Protocol. Honorable Speaker, this House may recall that in 2019, the Finance Act as enacted introduced increased levies and import duties on finished consumable goods, including those from the region. While this provision was intended to protect local industries and promote domestic consumption, it drew criticism from EAC partner states, including Tanzania, who viewed it as inconsistent with the Common Market Protocol and threatened retaliatory measures due to the impact on their exports to Kenya. In response to the resulting diplomatic friction and in the spirit of regional cooperation, this House, through the Finance Act of 2023, repealed the 2019 provision. However, this repeal has since negatively affected local manufacturers and traders who now face competition from lower-priced foreign imports. Honorable Speaker, it ought not to be lost on us that our good neighbor, the United Republic of Tanzania, which previously expressed concern over trade restrictions, has now imposed similar prohibitions on Kenya, despite the reciprocal action that this House took to repeal similar provisions when the region called on it. This raises legitimate concerns about unequal commitment to regional integration, obligations, and the need for Kenya to reevaluate its protectionism policy in light of the current developments. Honorable Speaker, considering the cross-cutting nature of this matter, I wish to seek a statement from the leader of the majority party on the following. Number one, the immediate steps taken by the Departmental Committee on Defense and Foreign Relations and the Select Committee on Regional Integration to intervene in the matter with a view to securing a reversal of the business licensing prohibition of business activities for non-citizens, Order 2025 by the government of the United Republic of Tanzania. Number two, protectionist considerations to be made by the Departmental Committee on Finance and National Planning in re-examining the possibility of reinstating the 2019 provisions on imposition of import duties on finished consumables from the region, and similar considerations to other sectors as steel and cement in light of the recent developments by the United Republic of Tanzania. A report on number three, a report on the steps taken by the Departmental Committee on Trade, Industry and Cooperatives and the Select Committee on Regional Integration, EAC, the ASALs and the regional development on the measures being taken by the government to address the policy by Tanzania and its impact on the Kenyan traders. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Mr. Leader, this is directed to you. Honorable Baya. I'm taking into account that this is an election year in Tanzania.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. I think this is also a first in this Parliament where a statement is sought directly from the leader of majority instead of the committees in charge. But notwithstanding, Honorable Speaker, I think one of the things that I must say is Kenya, the relationship between Kenya and Tanzania are still very stable, and we still share that cordial relation as a brother-to-brother country, and we will continue to do that despite some of these things that are coming from our sister country. Honorable Speaker, I undertake that we will be responding to that statement when we resume after recess, Honorable Speaker. And we, in view of that statement, we look forward to actually strengthening the relationship between Kenya and Tanzania going forward. And we also wish the Tanzanians well as they move to go to the general elections that they have, and wish that that government still remains stable, still remains more accommodative, because we are children of Jumuiya, the East African community, and we want to stick there, and we want Tanzania to be there, and we want every East African community member to continue to be there with those protocols that we have established over the many years. I thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Baya. This is a very elaborate question, Honorable Baya.
Yes.
It's a very elaborate question.
Yes.
If you listen to Honorable Kagiri, it cuts across 4 Republican committees, 4.
Yes, yes,
So
yes.
we hope that even the response will be as comprehensive and deliberate.
No, we will engage all the ministers involved. So we'll engage all the ministers, and especially the ministry in charge of East African Affairs, and Foreign Affairs, and all those. We will put them together, and Minister of Trade also, and Investment, so that we have an elaborate question. Probably from that, this question we may move to policy and ask our East African Legislative Assembly actually to look at all these matters and push a policy so that we don't have this kind of matter going forward. I thank you.
Thank you. Honourable members, I'm told that the chairperson for the Committee of Education has flown back from Homa Bay and is now in the house. Because we were told that the chairman of the Committee of Education was in Homa Bay, and I'm told he's now here. And I would allow him to respond to the questions by the Honourable Mumina Bonaya. I've just seen the Honourable Murada walk into the house, and the Honourable Anthony Olwoch. But before he does so, all members, order. Join me in welcoming students from Njenga Karume Primary School, Kiambaa constituency, Kiambu County. They are sitting in the public gallery, and they are welcome to the National Assembly this morning and with the Houses of Parliament. So the Honourable Meli, the floor is yours. Be as brief as possible for this indulgence we're giving to you.
Yes, Mr. Speaker, I rise to give us a statement as requested by honourable members. But first and foremost,
order. The Honourable Yamai, what is out of order?
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I just realized that the Honorable Major Bashir is back to the House. I do not know whether he has finished his punishment. Remember, he was asked to withdraw something that he had said in the House, and he refused to withdraw. I do not know whether the punishment that he was given by the Speaker, whether he has finished, because I think it was a very long punishment. And I can see him very happy seated on his seat.
Thank you.
So,
Thank
Mr.
you.
Speaker.
Thank you. Honourable Bashir. How long was your punishment?
Honorable Speaker, my punishment was actually for that particular session. The Speaker actually said that you'll be out of the Parliament for the remainder of the session. So that was for that particular session. Not for the whole session of Parliament, but for that particular day. Thank you.
I confirm that Honourable Bashir has finished his term of imprisonment and is rightfully in the House this morning. Honourable Meli, go ahead.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. Honourable Speaker, I rise to give several statements, and as per your direction, Honourable Speaker, I hope the members are present. But Member for Isiolo, I will start with yours because I have several statements, requests for statements from Member for Isiolo. I also have a request for statement from the member for Ann Murade Mugo from Kiambu. I also have a request for statement from Anthony Olwoch and Tindi Mwale. Honorable Speaker, as a Committee of Education, and as a ranking member, we had agreed, and I know I can't go against your direction, that in the spirit of running the committee as one, and in the, we always discuss these issues with the concerned State Department, and the members who are within the discussion would be able to present the
order. Yesterday, and I will say, with all respect, I want to say this from the chair, that when the Speaker made a ruling yesterday, I took it upon myself. I personally called you and told you of the Speaker's ruling yesterday, as your friend. I did that yesterday. Now, there is nowhere, and I've said that this morning, where we will allow chairpersons to start having their own kangaroo agreements with their members to shirk their responsibilities. And so that agreement that you've had with them is thereby quashed, and it should never be heard about in the floor of the House.
Honorable Speaker, the Honorable Member for Isiolo, Honorable Mumina Bonaya, had requested a statement, and the report is as follows. All the 18 schools have been approved to be junior schools. In fact, 12 of the 18 schools have already received capitation. The registration of names and provision of bank details. The table below provides details regarding each of the schools. Honorable Mumina was asking the status of registering schools into junior schools. And the schools are as follows. Yagasadi in Isiolo, the name is code is AQYG. All that received capitation in second term. Abagase also received capitation. All the way to number 6, Mercy School, they received capitation in second term. And the last school, Dololo Dakie in Isiolo, also received capitation in second term. So all the schools that requested by Honorable Member for Isiolo have actually been registered as junior schools and have received capitation, and they have been indicated. I wish also to indicate that the construction of grade 9 classrooms, the county has equitably done in the context of available resources, driven by the need to promote access, especially in the marginalized areas. In Isiolo County, for example, 82 classrooms have been constructed and completed. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Yes. That is for the member for Isiolo. And then I have also for Honorable Abdul Haro, who is our member of Education Committee. Yes.
Kiambu County.
Member for Kiambu County. Thank you.
Mumina, allow him to finish this, then we can take all of them together.
Yes. There is a statement. Yes, let me respond to the one for Kiambu County. Yes. A request for statement regarding challenges facing the Kiambu National Polytechnic sought by the Honorable Anne Morade Mugo, MP. Honorable Speaker, the State Department responded as follows. A report on the steps being taken to recruit at least 400 additional trainers for the Polytechnic ahead of the September 2025 intake. The National Assembly has allocated a total of Kenya shillings 2 million for the recruitment of additional TVET trainers across the country in the current financial year 25-26. The recruitment proposal for the current financial year 25-26 targets a total of 5,500 trainers. Currently, the institution has 163 trainers employed by the Public Service Commission and 138 by the Board of Governors. The institution will benefit from the additional allocation of trainers in proportion with the institutions across the country. This will be done once the projected recruitment has been undertaken. Section 2, response for the delays in disbursement of capitation and measures put in place to expedite the exercise of help loans and scholarships to students in the polytechnics. Honorable Speaker, the main reason for the occasional delays in disbursement of capitation to TVETs is occasioned by the delay in the release of exchequer by the Treasury. For instance, exchequer requisition for capitation for financial 24-25 were made as and released as follows. So this is actually what the State Department is saying, that capitation, exchequer releases are the main issues. One, capitation, they released amount 1,102,194. The date of requisition was 6/9/2024, but they got the money on 16th of November, no, 16th of September 2024. The remaining capitation of 3 billion, they made the requisition on 23rd December 2024, but they got the money on February 2025. So the delays is not actually the issue of State Department. It is the issue of the release of the exchequer by the National Treasury. So the State Department states that we continue to engage with the National Treasury to ensure the provision of adequate budget and the timely provision of funding to TVET institutions. We also wish to inform the August House that capitation scholarships and loans for TVET trainers have been underfunded for the extent of 19 billion in the financial year 24-25, comprising deficits of 12.5 billion for the scholarships and 2.96 billion for capitation and 3.84 for loans. I think this is an issue which the committee has brought to this House severally, Honorable Speaker, and it's an issue that is, and the State Department has done a lot in mobilizing students. I want to inform the House. Now they are targeting about 2 million students. To have 2 million students in our TVET institutions will actually get many of our young men and women out of the streets and out of the local centers. What we need to have is actually money for these students, scholarships and loans. And I think this House, it will be good that we actually budget not less than 40 billion for the TVET institutions. The other one is the third part of the question was progress made in implementing the 1,240 student accommodation units under the housing program to ensure availability of adequate accommodation in the institution. Honorable Speaker, I wish to state, or the State Department wish to state as follows, that they are working closely with the State Department for Housing and Urban Development on implementation of 1,140 trainees accommodation units under the Affordable Housing Program. This will ensure availability of accommodation to trainees in the institution. The State Department for Housing and Urban Development has invited bids on 25th March 2025 to undertake the construction works and sign an agreement with the management of the Kiambu National Polytechnic on the project. We are now waiting for the State Department for Housing and Urban Development to assign a contractor to the project. We are following up with the State Department to expedite. The fourth part of the question was, what is the Ministry of the plans by the Ministry of Education to fund and equip the specialized technical departments in the institution? Honorable Speaker, the Ministry is keen on equipping specialized technical departments at the Kiambu National Polytechnic through both income generating activities at the institution and donor support. Currently, with the support of the German government, the Ministry is providing infrastructure and equipment in industrial mechatronics to support development of skills in industrial automation and agriculture and value addition. So for the project has procured basic equipment in supporting the delivery of dual training and the provision of ICT equipment to enhance delivery. The second batch of equipment on the heavy training equipment are at the evaluation stage of the procurement. The Ministry will progressively equip specialized workshops and departments based on the skills requirement of the industry. So that is the funding part and how we are doing to have specialized aspects. And I think they have the AINE, or what they are calling the money they are generating internally, and the donor support, what we call the GTZ, which is doing a lot more in 5 national polytechnics. So those are the questions. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Mina.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I would like to thank the committee chair for the response they brought to the floor of the House on registration of junior secondary schools in my school, in my county, sorry. But Honorable Speaker, the reason why it took my intervention to have this school registered it has everything to do with how the ministry is misusing NEMIS to deny funding to the schools and delay registrations of our schools. In my county, I have so many schools where, while the schools register students on NEMIS, on this end, their details are removed. And the funding that they send to those schools are less than what is required and the number of students that they are keeping in those schools. Similarly, they are using NEMIS to deliberately delay registrations of schools because they don't want to send resources to these schools. So, Speaker, this is a matter that seriously needs to be looked into, and we can't move on like this. We can't go on like this because every time head teachers are crying to us saying that there are debts that they're not able to pay because they are keeping too many students in the school, and on this end, the ministry is sending less than what they've registered on NEMIS.
But Honorable Chair, this is a very straightforward matter that I think we don't need to do a back and forth on it.
Yes.
Yeah. The member standing on the aisle, you either be on the right or the left of the aisle, but you can't stand on the aisle for 10 minutes. This should be straightforward. Yeah.
Thank you. Mr. Speaker, I agree with the Honourable Member. And this is an issue which the committee has been really pursuing every other time. In the sense that every other time the students captured in NEMIS and the actual students in the school has not been adding up. So that is why the Committee on Education did actually petition the Ministry and the CS to make sure that we have a comprehensive application where it will be able to capture all the students and be able to have a modern system where the students in school physically and the students captured at the ministry are the same.
Okay.
That is why they proposed the introduction of chemis, which is going to be used from basic all the way to university. Okay. So I agree with you, and that is why they are doing that correction.
Sometimes there's nothing wrong in the committee. This fellow is not in Uganda or Tanzania, he's in the country. Why can't the committee just do a spot check? You know, we school one of these days. If members of parliament are saying their schools, the numbers are 800, but the others are saying 400, the committee can just do a spot check in 3-4 schools and give us a report. Why do you want to depend on the report of the ministry?
Chair. Mr. Speaker, I just want to say this. Our committee has really been having spot-on checks across national polytechnics, across universities, and we are actually on top of it. Even the other day, we are proposing to visit schools to find out the relationship between the actual students in classroom and the students captured on NEMIS, and even the safety projects. In fact, in this research, we are supposed to move around all the schools in that particular matter.
We are waiting for that report. The member for Kiambu.
Honorable Speaker, I just needed a clarification.
Okay. Let's hear her first. You can. Let's hear her first.
I just wanted a point of clarification from the chairman over the employment of the 400 teachers in the TVET, where he said they had, he indicated that they had a budget of about 2 million. And I'm wondering whether it is 2 million or 2 billion for the 400 teachers in the TVET.
No, for Nandi. Allow her, because those ones are going to allow her first.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. I think my brother has handled my concern because I wanted it to be straight on record because the chair read 2 million and the number was way over the budgets that can be accommodated by 2 million.
Correct.
Thank you, Honorable Chair.
Correct. The member for Isiolo. Just hold your horses.
Thank you, Speaker. Speaker, the issue here is, while the teachers register the students on NEMIS, they are being removed from the other side. The issue is not even they are not registered. They are being captured on NEMIS, but they are being removed. Who is this doing that job?
Okay. Mr. Honorable Dawood, I would like, Honorable Chair, to take down all these concerns, whether we can handle them once.
Chair, thank you, Mr. Speaker. I want the chair to, he has told us they're going to look at the NEMIS, but how long will this take? NEMIS has been there for ages, and if we are still being told NEMIS will sort it out, when will it do? We have to have a timeline, Mr. Speaker, because we are told more than, billions are lost in this capitation, even school infrastructure, billions are lost. So are we going to wait until when? So there should be a time frame, Chairman.
Thank you very much, Chair. Honorable Speaker, I would like to say that this matter of students not being invisible in NEMIS is a very serious matter. And I think this house is being let down by the directors of education in our sub-counties. And students are losing money every financial year. We budget for it, but it does not reach those students. Normally, the president says, if it can be done, let it be done immediately. So the question is, government is the one that does registration. Government is the one that gives birth certificates to these students. But the government is the one that has employed the directors of education, and this house gives them money, and this money does not reach pupils and students in our schools. So why is it that it cannot be done? So I would like to ask, just like my colleague from Isiolo is saying, can the chair give us timelines on when all the students in our primary and secondary schools will be captured in NEMIS? Thank you, Chair, for the opportunity.
To be.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Speaker. This is a matter which has been going on for a long time. The issue about the NEMIS. For us to get the real students who are in every class, every school, NEMIS does not agree with even the head count of the students. I have tried from my constituency, I have tried to get the number of students in all those schools because it's the class register. 3 is NEMIS. NEMIS does not agree with any of those ones. And why you don't have? I've even gone to the Ministry of Education to try to know exactly why this thing is happening. And the principals and the headmasters out there are told that when they try to feed the system, that thing kicks back. I don't know, it doesn't go through, that's what they are saying. Why is this thing happening? Is it a corruption? Because I believe that there must be something corruption or sort of, which is going on in this area.
Thank you. Mako Makweni.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for giving me this opportunity. Actually, the issue that is being discussed on this floor is a very thorny issue. In my constituency, we have many schools, almost all schools have students who appear in the register, they appear in everything else in the school, but never in the NEMIS. Teachers have followed this process because I've demanded, you cannot come to complain to me when you can go to the ministry and have your records done. I don't know what's wrong with the sub-county leaders, because every year in, year out, this data is not being captured. There is always this flimsy excuse that some students do not have a birth certificate, the birth certificate does not match with the ID of the mother. I mean, as a government, how can we not sort such petty issues? And why have we employed people? Then, Honorable Speaker, we need to have a balance sheet. If the money does not go to the school, where does it go? All these years. Can we have the education committee give us a clear balance sheet? If last year it did not go to the school, where is the money? Because money cannot disappear in a system. Because this is very, very wanting. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
So, Honorable Speaker, thank you. Honorable Speaker, I want to join my colleagues in the concern of this matter of NEMIS and what is happening in this republic. We may keep blaming the directors of education, we may keep blaming everyone else, but the bottom line is our teachers who are running these schools, they are really suffering. Because when the data does not capture the reality in the schools, the money that trickles down to these schools is dismally very little money. And at the end of the day, it is the students who suffer. The teachers don't know what to do. So, Honorable Speaker, I want to say, let the Education Committee be head on with the Ministry of Education so that we know what exactly happens at the ministry headquarters before we really brain on the education or the sub-county level, because the buck stops in the office of the person who is responsible of overseeing the Ministry of Education.
Thank you.
We stop apportioning blame. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
And lastly, the Honorable Kosgei on this.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. If every member had an opportunity to contribute, the story would be the same across the country. And Mr. Speaker, technology is meant to help and to solve complex issues, which is this technology that derails that function, Mr. Speaker. I think, Mr. Speaker, it is fair that you give a direction that within a specific period of a month, for example, the Ministry of Education goes out to clean and to capture every student in the Republic of Kenya and come with a confirmation to this House that every student schooling in the Republic of Kenya is now captured in NEMIS, so that we close this matter once and for all.
The Honorable Ngrus.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me this time to add my voice on the issue that is discussed on the floor of this House. Mr. Speaker, the issue that's coming up here is a very important issue that's really affecting the learners in our schools. Mr. Speaker, it's really discouraging that we have a whole ministry with so many employees, so many top officials, but they cannot account for the number of students in our schools. And Mr. Speaker, this has made really running of our schools very difficult. Sometimes even keeping the students in our schools is really becoming a big problem, because managing our schools without having the real number, without complying with the resources that are supposed to go down to the schools, becomes very difficult to manage our schools, Mr. Speaker. And this has really affected the learning, because sometimes even taking care of the students without having the right resources, because of the number that's being submitted by the ministry, is really a shocking story to this country. So, Mr. Speaker, we want to task the Ministry of Education that the number of the students should always tally with the number that is in the NEMIS, because that will reflect on how much resources will go down to the schools. Another problem, Mr. Speaker, is that if the system is really not working and it's not adding up, why don't we have a parallel manual program that the ministry can capture the number of students per school, such that at a certain point they can be able to compare the number in the NEMIS and also have a manual register which can capture all the students in a school. Because you can imagine, you can have 1,000 students in a school, but in the NEMIS you can have less than 300. So who will account for the number that's missing? So, Mr. Speaker, something needs to be done.
Thank you.
And the Ministry of Education should be up to the task. That's
The Chair of the Education Committee.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I agree with the sentiments of the members, and I want to give a brief, just short story, and I want to say my former chair education, before the introduction of NEMIS, they were using, Honorable Sabina Chege is here, before the introduction of NEMIS, they were using leaflets and papers from schools to ascertain the number of students in those schools. After our visit to the US, and we saw the US charter schools, that is when NEMIS was introduced. And we realized that there was a complete mismatch between the list brought by the principal to the Ministry of Education and the actual students on the ground, because they were just adding it up. But now with the introduction of NEMIS, other issues have arisen. And I want to tell the House that about in June this month, the new principal secretary launched chemis, and they brought in chemis because of the inability of NEMIS to capture all the student data. So I want to say this, Honorable Speaker, that what I've read here and what the committee has tasked the ministry to do is to ensure that KEMIS is functional and running before the end of September. And then two, the issues of money not remitted to schools is actually what we have been, this house has been telling the minister, the committee has been telling the minister, and we are putting him to task every time. It's not only capitation, even money for sports, even money for music. We are having issues on their disbursement to schools. So, Honorable Speaker, I raise the case there. Thank you.
The Honorable, no. We will not allow any further discussion on this matter. My direction is this: we will not take, because the Honorable Chair has just introduced a new confusion. That there's NEMIS, now there's KEMIS, we don't know. So the direction, order. The direction I'm giving on this matter is that the Cabinet Secretary for Education shall come to the House the week we resume. Most particularly, the Wednesday of the week we resume after recess. With a specific role, nothing else, to explain to the House on the system for registration of students in our schools. No other subject. So that we get to know, we don't want to hear it from a fellow member of parliament, we want to hear, is NEMIS still there or is not there? And what is KEMIS? So that members leave the House knowing the system that we're using to register students in our schools. So that we don't have so many questions coming out on this. And it's so ordered. Next order.
Order number 8, the Breastfeeding Mothers Bill, National Assembly Bill number 8 of 2024, second reading, question to be put.
Order. Now, honorable members, debate on this motion, or this bill was completed last week, and I now put the question, order. I now put the question that the Breastfeeding Mothers Bill, National Assembly Bill number 8 of 2024, be now read a second time. Will ask another opinion say aye? I will ask another opinion say nay. The ayes have it.
A bill for an act of parliament to make provision for breastfeeding mothers, to provide for employers' obligations towards breastfeeding working mothers in the workplace, to provide for baby changing facilities for use by the public and for connected purposes.
Next order.
Order number 9, the County Government's Amendment Bill, Senate Bill number 25 of 2023, second reading, question to be put.
Well, members, debate on this bill also completed. I now put the question, order. I now put the question that the County Government's Amendment Bill, Senate Bill number 25 of 2023, be now read a second time. Will as many other opinions say aye? Will as many other opinions say nay? Ayes have it.
A bill for an act of parliament to amend the County Governments Act to increase the threshold for removal of a member of a county executive committee and for connected purposes.
Next order.
Order number 10, motion, expression of concern on the Middle East conflict, question to be put.
All members, as you remember, the debate on this motion also concluded last week, and therefore let members have a chance to vote either way. Order. All members, the motion is on expression of concern on the Middle East conflict. That, aware that Kenya ratified the United Nations Charter on Human Rights on 31st July 1990, and further recollecting that among the rights enshrined in the Charter is the right to life and self-determination by people, cognizant of the fact that Israel occupation of Palestine territory in Gaza and the West Bank has been characterized by disproportionate and indiscriminate use of force, concerned that this has deepened the humanitarian crisis in the region, including the destruction of infrastructure, widespread civilian casualties, and the willful killing of Palestinian civilians, including children in the occupied territories by the Israeli army, noting that these grave breaches amount to war crimes flagrant violations of international humanitarian law and crimes against humanity, concerned that the recent escalation of hostilities between Israel and Iran, including cross-border strikes and retaliatory attacks, threatens to engulf the wider Middle East region in conflict, recalling that Kenya has previously suffered attacks on its soil as a result of the Middle East conflict, including the 2002 attack on the Paradise Hotel in Kampala, appreciating that the United Nations General Assembly recently passed a resolution demanding an end to Israel's unlawful occupation of Palestinian territories and urging compliance with international law, further appreciating the urgent need for international community, including regional powers and the United Nations Security Council, to intensify diplomatic efforts aimed at achieving an immediate ceasefire, facilitating humanitarian access and initiating inclusive peace negotiations in the Middle East. Appreciative of the role Kenya has played regionally and internationally in global peace initiatives and in mitigating violations constituting crimes against humanity, and in solidarity with the Palestinian civilians subjugated by Israel, this House now expresses deep concern over the dangerous escalation in hostilities in the Middle East and threatens international peace and security across the Middle East and beyond. 2, reaffirms Kenya's proactive commitment to a peaceful resolution of disputes through negotiation, diplomacy, and adherence to the principles of the United Nations Charter. 3, urges all parties to the conflict to protect civilian lives and infrastructure in accordance with Geneva Conventions and international humanitarian law, and to exercise maximum restraint and immediately cease further acts of aggression, including aerial bombardments, missile strikes, and other forms of military escalation. And 4, calls on the international community, including the United Nations and regional powers, to intensify diplomatic efforts aimed at escalation and restoration of dialogue and a return to the frameworks of international law. Will as many of the opinion say aye? Well, as many of the opinion say nay? Ayes have it. Order.
Order number 11, motion, consideration of Senate amendment to the Land Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 40 of 2022, question to be put.
Oh, members, order. Order. Oh, members, we're in business of the House, so you'll have to be orderly. Debate on this bill, or this motion, was also completed last week, and therefore proceed to put the question that the Senate amendment to the Land Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 40 of 2022, be now considered. Will as many other opinions say aye? Or as many other opinions say nay? Ayes have it. Well, members, before we proceed with the next order, join me in welcoming students from the following schools seated in the public gallery: Ramu Girls Secondary School, Mandera North; Ramu Day Secondary School, Mandera North; Takaba Boys Secondary School, Mandera West; Sheikh Ali High School, Mandera North; Kandolo Comprehensive School, Kilome, Makweni; and Ngutu Primary School, Tigania East, Meru County. The students are in the public gallery and they are welcome for our proceedings this morning under the House of Parliament. The Honorable Bashir, and you do the honors for all the schools.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I want to take this opportunity to welcome all the schools that have visited the National Assembly this morning, and I want to urge them that it is a place of honor and you will learn a lot. In particular, I want to send my facilitation to Sheikh Ali High School, Ramu Girls, Ramu Day, and my neighboring school of Takaba. And I ask them that join us in seeing what Parliament and parliamentarians can do. And I'm sure that as you grow up, you'll be able to take up some of the roles that we do here currently. And I'm sure you came back from the music festivals and you did very well, and congratulations at the same time. So you are most welcome to the National Assembly and within the Precinct of Parliament. Enjoy your time. Welcome all of you.
All members, as you are aware, the students are here to visit us. It's not a business of the House. They are all welcome for our proceedings. Next order. Honorable Trudy, what is out of order?
Mr. Chairman, I was here yesterday, and I raised an issue with the Speaker, Mr. Farah Mali. The issue is that 3 weeks ago, I asked for a statement from this House from the minister in charge of security, the chairman. And then it was selected for the 1 week, the week following the end of recess last time. And that one is over. Now we are going into another recess. And that's a matter concerning Isiolo. On the issue of whatever is happening in Isiolo, which is known by everybody, which has happened, chaos is happening in Isiolo. And that chaos has something to do with the impeachment of the governor. Isiolo is ungovernable. Isiolo has problems. People are being killed here, left, right, center, and nothing is happening. And we have tried to ask about that, and then that question has not been answered yet. And now, yesterday I was promised it's going to be brought today, and it's not in the order paper. Both of them.
Hey, Honorable Tulbi, I think your concern is noted. You may be aware that the relevant committee is this morning conducting a vetting exercise on nominees for National Police Service Commission, but they'll be in the House in the afternoon. And as I've said earlier in the morning, that even the CS for Interior will be here in the afternoon. So just be in the House and raise these matters at the right time in the afternoon today. That is, there's nothing to respond to, Honorable Tubi. I've just communicated that the committee, the relevant committee, is, as we speak, conducting a vetting exercise on the nominees to the National Police Service Commission. That's why the chair is not in the House. We know that he'll be in the House in the afternoon. We also know that the CS for Interior will be in the chamber in the afternoon. So my advice to you is that be in the House in the afternoon to raise these issues with both of them. You are accordingly advised. Next order.
Order number 12, Committee of the Whole House.
Honorable members, please, those who wish to participate in the Committee of the Whole House, please take your seats. So, honorable members, we are considering the Senate amendment to the Land Amendment Bill in the House. I can see you are seated in your place.
Senate amendment to clause 3.
I propose the question that Senate amendment to clause 3 be now approved. There is no amendment to this, so I now put the question that the Senate amendment to clause 3 be now approved. As many as of that opinion say aye. As many as of a contrary opinion say nay. The ayes have it. That is all. We have come to the end. I would like now to call upon the mover.
Honorable Chair, I beg to move that the committee do report to the House its consideration of the State Senate amendment to the Land Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 40 of 2022, and its approval thereafter without amendment.
Honorable members, I now put the question, which is that the committee do report to the House its consideration of the Senate amendment to the Land Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 40 of 2022, and its approval thereof without amendments. As many as of that opinion say aye. As many as of a contrary opinion say nay. The ayes have it. Honorable members, we are going now to consider the second bill, consideration of the President's reservation to the Cancer Prevention and Control Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 45 of 2022. This bill is by the Honorable Rahim Dawood. I can see you are seated in the House. Let's proceed.
President's reservations to clause 2.
I propose the question that the President's reservation to clause 2 be now approved. Chair? Chair Health, the Honorable Dr. Nikau.
Honorable Chairperson, I beg to move that clause 2 of the bill be deleted as proposed by His Excellency the President. Chairperson, clause 2 of the bill is proposed to introduce the definition of the terms e-health and telemedicine to the Principal Act. The two terms are already defined in the Digital Health Act, and therefore the bill may cross-reference to the terms as defined in the Digital Act, and that is the rationale for that deletion from the President. Thank you.
Let me first of all propose the question